What's up, dudes? It's the Vigorous Q&A. Welcome to the weekend. Let's get started with a couple updates, and then we'll get into the membership questions. So the Anabolic Roundtable was live last Monday, and the podcast with Eric Janicki will go live on Monday, next week Monday. So Anabolic Roundtable was last Monday, 22,000 views because I put Trimbolone in the title, and Eric Janicki's steroid cycle will discuss next Monday. I also recorded the SLU-PP332 deep dive video, so it will drop around the middle of next week. And then we're going to go continue with the deep dives on Mirabegron and Nandrolone and Methylene Blue. I contributed to an article for Men's Health. It's called the Viral Steroid Trend, or the Viral Steroid Trend Targeting Teens, composed by Matt Martell. He interviewed a big name in the fitness industry. It's linked down below. And for the Olympia University, the tickets are on sale right now. They're normally $100, but you can get 30% discount with Speaker 30. So it'll only be $70 for the entire weekend. It's just not for my seminar, it's for the entire weekend. On Friday and Saturday will be panels the entire day, and you can basically decide which panel you want to attend. My panel will be the TRT and PD's Part 1 panel on Saturday, October 12th from 1 to 2 p.m. in the Las Vegas Convention Center, room S233, which is the South Hall right upstairs from the expo. So instead of walking straight to the expo, I think you go to the right side, you go up the escalators, and then hall or room S322 will be right there. So I'll see you there 1 p.m. if you get a ticket. And that's pretty much the updates that I have. So let's get started with the questions. Here's one. James Lee Strauss, 23 years old, 250 pounds and 250 tests, 100 milligrams NPP per week. Growing extremely well, but I keep having the problem where my hypoxia is getting worse and worse. Should I take hypoxin? If so, dose and protocols, thank you. It might be that your body weight is just increasing too fast and you're not acclimatizing to it is increasing body weight. So I would recommend you to do some daily fasted cardio to get used to this 250 pounds, because 250 pounds is not a lot. I'm 240, 245 pounds on some days, and I don't get any hypoxia. I breeze through my cardio sessions and my workouts. I don't really get out of breath unless it's leg exercises, but the rest is totally fine. So you're probably just growing too fast. Added some daily fasted cardio at a heart rate of 125 to 135 beats per minute. And then later on, you can add in the hypoxin or maybe the Bemetil, right? Do some research on both. I think hypoxin is better for hypoxia, but Bemetil is also pretty good for that. Just keep in mind that hypoxin and Bemetil have a pretty long active life, so a single serving might last you several days. And it can be quite stimulatory to the point you can't even sleep. Jason S. Socrates. Doesn't matter what time of the day to check hemoglobin A1C. It's not affected by glucose. No, it doesn't really matter at all because it's an average of 3 months. Right? The hemoglobin within the red blood cells is glycolylated. It reacts with glucose, and then it's slowly released from the red blood cells as they reach their end life, right after about 90 to 110 days. So it's, let's say, 3-month average. And then the hemoglobin is released into the bloodstream, and the glycolylated hemoglobin can be detected as hemoglobin A1C. So that's a 3-month average, so it doesn't matter when you test it, but it's important that you go in hydrated. So drink at least 1.5 liters of water before you do blood work every single time for all of the markers. That's very important, and that's not cheating because you're hydrated the rest of the day also. So don't go dehydrated and then get misrepresentative blood work when you're otherwise in a hydrated state. So make sure you go in hydrated, and your hemoglobin A1C might be dropped by 1 point. So you get a little bit better blood work results that way. All right, member questions. Dubster Buster asks, hey coach, what is the shelf life of a valve Primo after first draw? You could potentially draw and inject with the same needle. Half 32 millimeters, 3 centimeters? 1.5 inch for intramuscular glute. We don't reuse needles. We're not junkies, right? So you switch needles every single time. It doesn't matter if an insulin syringe or an intramuscular syringe, right, of 1 inch or 1.5 inches. You can draw and inject with the same needle if you want to, but you don't reuse needles for similar injections. I misread your question. So you could draw and inject with the same needle. The problem is that you need to draw Primo with an 18 gauge. You're not going to inject with an 18 gauge. You should use a 25 gauge. So I would still switch it. And drawing Primo for an ampule of Bayer Rimobolan within 25 gauge, you'll be there for about 2 years, and then your hands will cramp. So I would switch it up. The shelf life is, I know if you transfer it to a sterile vial, you can keep it there indefinitely, man. I draw 1 ampule of Bayer testaviron into a sterile vial, and then I split that out over 2 weeks. So it's still good. Don't get any post-injection pain or irritation at the injection site. No problems there, but you need to keep it in a sterile environment. So if you open the ampule, you either need to keep the contents of the ampule in the syringe or in a sterile vial. And by all means, just use a different needle for drawing as injecting, unless you're drawing with an insulin syringe through a rubber stopper from the vial. James asks, thoughts on this cycle? 300 milligrams Steroid Valorate, 20 milligrams VAR every day, 20 milligrams testosterone every day, applied to the testicles to maintain intratesticular function and size. Should I also use pregnenolone and DHEA, and will intertesticular cover my bases? Okay, so if you apply testosterone cream, it might go intertesticularly, albeit that it's not as effective at using HCG. But James, you're clearly scared of needles. That's why you're trying to reinvent the wheel with all these kinds of weird protocols, doing stuff applied to the testicles or using cream. And it's something I can't get behind. So you can do whatever the fuck you want to do with your topical formulations. But in my opinion, you should create an injection depot and inject your standalone Valorate, take your 20 milligrams Anavar orally, and your testosterone sub-Q or intramuscularly. So, I don't know. Yes, you would have some DHEA and pregnenolone in the picture, but this cycle to me looks, sorry to say it, but it looks fucking retarded. So good luck with that. Also asks, I'm looking to get into acting for the roles, and I need a very strong jaw and face structure. What do you think is the best bet on achieving that with PEDs? Is buccal or sublingual DHT powder? No, you need to train like a man. You see this jawline? I inject my steroids and I train like a fucking man. I go to failure, I train fucking hard, and I clench my jaw so hard that it hypertrophies. See that? This is from training hard. Of course, I take my Anavar sublingually, but I doubt that has much to do with it, with the jaw structure. If anything, this grows, because here's where the saliva ducts are. See that? That's from eating out. That's not, well, it's not what you think. Eating somebody else out frequently. It's probably not from the sublingual Anavar. So, again, if you want to reinvent the wheel, go right ahead and take your sublingual DHT powder, but inject and train like a man, and then you'll get the physique that you want, just like everybody else that trains like a man and injects like a man. Gabriel, weird question. How can I reduce frequency of nighttime urination? I wake up multiple times per night to pee, which disrupts my sleep. Any advice, over-the-counter supplements, tests, and biomarkers, best practices to help this? So Mirabegron is a incontinence medication that actually prevents nighttime peeing. And the clinical dose is anywhere between 50 milligrams to 200 milligrams per day. The higher the dose goes, the more fat loss you'll experience, because it works on the beta-3 adrenergic receptors on adipose tissue, but also on the bladder, relaxing your bladder. The downside is, instead of having like 4 pees per night or 3 pees per night, you'll have 2 or 1 big one. And the pees that you have at night will last longer, which might prevent you from falling asleep. So instead of going to the bathroom 4 times, having a quick pee, job done, and you go right back to bed and you fall asleep again, now you sit there pissing up a storm to the point you're like, why? It's been 10 minutes. Why does this never end? All right, so your bladder is twice as full. So you'll probably still pee the same amount. And otherwise, you might have to reduce fluid intake from 4 p.m. onwards. Right, so you drink the majority of your water during the day, and then you have about 6 hours to clean it out from 4 o'clock onwards, right, until 10 p.m. And then 10 and 11 o'clock, you go to bed, and there's not so much fluid in your system, which means that throughout the entire night you're dehydrated, and that's probably not the best for recovery. So I drink my water all the way up to bedtime. When I go to the bathroom, I have another sip of water. I take my Mirabegron. Actually, I stopped that. I'm going to switch to clenbuterol to see what the difference is. But yeah, when I was running Mirabegron, you just pee the same amount but longer, because the bladder is more relaxed, so there's more urine in your bladder. And any over-the-counter supplements you can do, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. You can keep your estrogen a little bit lower so you pee out more during the day, but then again, you pee out more during the night as well, making you dehydrated. Yeah, or desmopressin. Desmopressin or Mirabegron. Those two might prevent nighttime peeing. Gabriel asks, do GH secretagogue increase cortisol and prolactin? Yes, Most of them do. Potentially disrupting sleeping gains? Yes, most of them do. Can you explain more about the mechanism? Do all GHG secretagogues cause this effect, or are there exceptions? I haven't done a deep dive in growth hormone secretagogues regarding their individual cortisol and prolactin secretion, but what I do know is that every time I research a subject, that MK677 and most of the injectable growth hormone secretagogues either increase cortisol levels or prolactin or both. So this is why we take growth hormone instead, which actually suppresses cortisol and doesn't raise prolactin levels, but might interact with the prolactin receptor because a certain domain of the growth hormone peptide is similar to the prolactin peptide. So you lose out a little bit there. So, you know, from the top of my head, I don't really know which one it is. Maybe ipamorelin and tesamorelin were the least cortisol secreting. I'm speculating here, fuzzy memory. But otherwise, if you're not sure, just type in the growth hormone secretagogue that you're interested in, type in cortisol afterwards into PubMed and do some research. Or type in prolactin and do some research and see what the studies come up. And otherwise, go with your most sensible growth hormone secretagogue stack and check your fasting cortisol and fasting prolactin level after a week or two of use. And see how your overall sleep quality is with your Apple Watch or Whoop or whatever that you like to track your sleep with. My sleep quality is absolutely phenomenal on real growth hormone. And honestly, with the price of generics or pharmaceutical, you could probably run 2 to 3 IUs of pharmaceutical for the same price that you're spending on a stack of growth hormone secretagogues, unless it's MK677, which is obviously the cheapest. Dumpster Buster asked, after an intramuscular glutamine injection, I feel fine, no pain or discomfort immediately, but 24 hours after, the muscle becomes sore at the injection site, even after a hard hit. Is this normal? Or like after a hard hit, is this normal? So no, this could be an allergy to the carrier oil or just virgin muscle. Like virgin muscle is not used to an injection depot, and it might take 6 to 10 shots before your muscle gets used to it. Or you go subcutaneous. So whatever irritation you get is in the subcutaneous space, so that it doesn't affect your mobility, right? You can still walk, you can still squat, leg press, have sex, sit down, right? Roll around on the beach, whatever you want, because it's in a subcutaneous space, that's no problem. But it sounds like virgin muscle issue. But again, it could be inflammation from the carrier oil. It could be an allergy to benzobenzoate or benzoalcohol. It could be just impurities within the stuff. So check if you're running pharmaceutical grade. If it's pharmaceutical grade in a righteous oil, you might still want to switch. I'd have an excellent deep dive on the carrier oil. Let me link it down below in case you haven't seen it. Hello there. Have you ever... Hello there. Let's see. Oh, no. Let's keep this at the top. I linked down below. Hey, Steve, I've done CRP tests and the result was 0. Fucking legendary. 0 inflammation. Is that a good sign of oxidative stress? CRP is a poor indicator of oxidative stress. It's an indication of inflammation. There's other markers for oxidative stress which are not very commonly tested for. So there's glutathione, GSH. They're usually not found on blood work tests, or at least not here in Thailand. So I cannot test for oxidative stress, but there are several markers for oxidative stress. But CRP, homocysteine, cis-A, or glyc-A, and ferritin. Yeah, ferritin, homocysteine, CRP, high sensitivity preferably, and glyc-A. Those are the best markers for inflammation. And then the glutathione-related markers are the best for oxidative stress. So if it's 0, then you're in a very low inflammatory state. Win. Good job. You eat healthy and you don't inject anything that you shouldn't be taking. Luke asks, TRT plus, test enanthate 120 milligrams testosterone enanthate, 60 milligrams Primo per week. Wow, that's very moderate. 5 milligrams Cialis, magnesium 600 milligrams per day, 12% body fat, 2 hours of cardio per week, high blood pressure even before TRT 140 to 80, try telmisartan up to 60 milligrams, no change. Try 80 milligrams or other ARB. Why don't you increase the magnesium to 1.5 grams per day? I think that's going to make a big difference because 600 milligrams magnesium per day might not be enough. I just increased my magnesium intake to 300 milligrams per meal. So I get 5 meals per day, so that's 1,500 milligrams, and then I take an extra 300 milligrams magnesium 3 and 8 before bed. So that's the last meal has actually 600 milligrams magnesium. So one meal of mine contains more magnesium than you take over the day. Now, my blood pressure hasn't changed, but I'm also responding well to telmisartan. But I wanted to see, after discussion with Kurt Havens and Dr. Dean St. Mart on the previous Anabolic Roundtable podcast, because my alkaline phosphatase is still a little bit low, so Dean recommended maybe increase the magnesium even more. I was taking about 1,200 milligrams supplemental magnesium. Now I'm going to increase that to 1,500 milligrams, and then maybe give that some time, increasing to 2,000 milligrams supplemental magnesium. And then take it from there. See if an alkaline phosphatase will come up to about 70 or 80 milligrams per deciliter. So you might just not get enough magnesium in. That will be the first thing to do. Keep the telmisartan at 60 milligrams, and you're not that far off, right? 125 over 65 would be good. 120 or 130 over 70 would be good. You're not that far off. And if it's before high TRT, then maybe you were on TRT because you were unhealthy, and now you need to focus on your healthiness extra hard because the TRT is making your blood pressure worse. Maximal187 asks, hey Steve, I'm on TRT, out of breath very quickly, can't even have sex anymore, my dick will get limp due to difficulty breathing, libido is okay, any idea what it could be? What blood work marker should I get checked? Okay, so your estrogen might be high, making you hold a lot of water. Your body weight might have increased, making you feel out of breath. Your hematocrit might be super high. Maybe you have sleep apnea. Maybe you have thick, viscous blood because of all of that. So I would do a complete blood count, estradiol, serum electrolytes to see if those are skewed. Check your blood pressure, obviously, and start doing some daily fasted cardio like everybody should. Most of these questions that I just had so far can be mitigated by daily fasted cardio. Of course, everybody's too busy, supposedly. They can check in 2.5 hours to the Vigorous Q&A, no problem. But too busy to do fasted cardio every single day. Yeah, but it doesn't matter when you do cardio. I can do it post-workout for fat loss. It has nothing to do with that. It needs to be done in a fasted state for your metabolism and overall health parameters to improve. Do I have any of these issues? No, because I do my daily fasted cardio. And I'm on a lot more than TRT, and I can have sex for hours. Just ask your mom. Yeah. Why has she got a sore back? It's probably Uncle Steve. So anyway, check your complete blood count to see if you have high hematocrit, high hemoglobin, high red blood cell counts. Check your serum electrolytes, check your estrogen levels, and take it from there. Barbarian asks, I messaged last week about the nerve inflammation pain I had been experiencing for over a decade. Already ordered Methylene Blue and started taking it last Monday. Nerve pain gone. Oh, I didn't read anything in the scientific evidence that Methylene Blue can help with nerve pain, but that is very, very good to hear. So I will be sure to mention that and do more research for Methylene Blue regarding nerve pain, because I remember recommending not SS31, the other one. SS31 is the mitochondrial peptide. ARA290. So many numbers. When are these going to be branded? Okay, ARA290 is cerebrolysine, but I guess you fix it yourself by taking Methylene Blue. So that's good to hear. Yeah, it was not my recommendation, but you figured it out yourself. Nice work on you, and thanks for sharing that with us, because now more people can learn from your personal experience. Disillusion asks, hey Steve, I started injectable L-carnitine, so your video from Chase Iron started with 200 milligrams for every 50 pound of body weight for 2 weeks and half it. Would you say it's a good recommendation still, or would you prefer to go higher? It kind of depends on which phase you're in, because if you're in the off season and you're having a lot of insulin release and a lot of, absorption of the carnitine, obviously, then the dose can be a little bit lighter or lower, and you're not really burning so much fat, you're mostly burning glucose. So I would say during a cutting phase, your carnitine intake can be a little bit more than during the off season, but during the off season, it's still good to have adequate fatty acids shuttling into the mitochondria for energy production and prevent you from getting fat and potentially help with androgen receptor sensitivity, even though the scientific evidence regarding injectable carnitine or oral carnitine for androgen receptor content of skeletal muscle is a little bit thin, right? But it's also reasonably inexpensive, so might as well take it. Yeah, and that recommendation still stands. So if you're 250 pounds or 200 pounds, you would take Let's see, times 5, so about a gram of carnitine or 800 milligrams of carnitine per day, and then later on you can have it. But I would continue with that dose if you're in a cutting phase, because you're simply oxidizing more fatty acids, obviously, because you're trying to burn body fat. And for that, your carnitine requirement goes up, especially if you take clenbuterol or mirabegron or growth hormone or SLU-PP332 or methylene blue or, I don't know, fucking DNP, right? All that shit, or cardarine, right? It all improves mitochondrial fatty acid oxidation. And for that, you need more carnitine shuttling, so might as well supplement with it. Disillusion asks, hey Steve, last year I tore my bicep doing sports. It wasn't bad enough to require any surgery, and I was told it heals by itself. A year on, I feel like I'm starting to notice it even more, even after time off from the gym doing simple day-to-day tasks around the house. Anything I could try to help alleviate or heal it? Surgery. If it's not better, then it's malpractice from a year ago. I would always get a second opinion if you get a tendon tear. I mean, when I tore my pec, I also had 2 doctors look at it. And when I tore my hamstring, I also had 2 doctors look at it. And I looked at the MRI, and I gave it about 4 weeks. But for me, it healed normally. But if for you, after a year, it's still torn, you have a partial tear, you need to get it reattached and then do the tendon protocols, which I've plastered all over my YouTube channel. It doesn't heal by itself. If it's torn, it's torn. It's not magically going to reconnect. You're not Wolverine or any of the other mutants with super healing factor powers. We need surgery, and then we can use the healing peptides to recover from the surgery faster, right? From the incision and the reattachment surgery. We have TB500, BPC157, GCK copper, Anavar, growth hormone or growth hormone secretagogues, and collagen powder, right? Even though, again, scientific evidence... Yeah, ask your favorite science guy if they have skin like this. Collagen, 40 grams per day. J. Rodino asks, hey Steve, my girlfriend has really bad knees. They crack and make a ton of noise. I got her some BPC157 to inject into them. Is there any other things she can do for the knee health? Thanks. Thank you. Get an MRI done on her knee or an ultrasound to see if there's any structural issues, because it shouldn't crack and make a ton of noise. It could be synovial fluid is not sufficient. The BPC157 is not going to do anything for that. Could be a meniscus tear. BPC157 is not going to magically grow the meniscus together. Could be cartilage or bone fragments in there. Guys, get it diagnosed first. And then you can do the healing peptides. But the healing peptides are not magic. It needs to be structurally sound for your body to utilize the healing peptides for it to heal. And if there's a structural issue, right, let's put it this way. You're basically asking me, after I cut off your thumb, if you stick the thumb back on, right, you do this little trick. Oh, how did this trick go? You don't remember this trick, right, from when you were little kids? Right? BPC157 is not going to do this. You need to get it reattached. So get it diagnosed first, and then use the healing protocol. I get these questions every single day. Steve, I have a torn shoulder tendon, right? Or patella tendon, or whatever. Surgery, and then the peptides. So get it diagnosed, and then take it from there. Hyperborean engineer asks, tips on looking the best in selfies at the end of a cut. Hire a photographer. Just hire a photographer, man. That's what I always did after every cut. Hire a photographer. If you're just do a peak, right, with vasodilators, pump lighting, altered carbs, and sodium. I mean, you're basically asking for an entire peaking process. This is not what the vigorous Q&A is for. We have coaches for that. Hire a coach for a peaking program and hire a photographer, and you'll look your best. Right? You do a little bit of a depletion, you do a carb up, you do a one-day fat load, you run whatever hardeners you want to run, whether that's Superdrol, Winstrol, Halotestin, Anavar, whatever the fuck you want to do. You maybe drop your sodium the day before as you're loading the fats in. You cut your water slightly, right? These are all just basic ground rules, but everybody's different. You can't get a cookie-cutter answer to a peaking protocol for a photo shoot, let alone stepping on stage. But the best thing you can do is when you're peaking for a day, don't take selfies because you're tired. Hire a photographer with a professional studio, and you get phenomenal pictures like this. Right? Like this. This is professional photography. Why do you think I keep this on my phone? I'm super happy with this picture. So, it's still one of my best shots. So, this is professional photography. And then those pictures last forever, and then you can later alter them in Lightroom or Photoshop or however you want to do this. But these are straight from the camera. Beautiful lighting setup, a black background. I was peaked to the max, even though my body fat levels might have been like 9 or 10%. I peaked fucking hard for that one based on my individual nutrition, and I got with a photographer that knew bodybuilding, knew the poses, knew exactly when to shoot, made me work for it because the longer you pose, the harder you become. And I got some phenomenal pictures out of it. It was Bart from the Muscle Factory, the owner of the Muscle Factory. He's a multifaceted man, including a photographer. Many guys have done a photo shoot with Bart, so if you're at the Muscle Factory peaking, might as well ask him. He has a studio up there in his home office. Biscup asks, can you list all instances where you like to see blood pressure, heart rate tested around training, post-cardio, post-meal? I think just morning resting is usually not enough to get a full picture. Yeah, so upon waking, sometime in the afternoon around 4 o'clock, that's usually my cortisol levels are the highest, post-workout and before bed. You don't have to do it post-meals. I don't think it fluctuates that much unless you want to check your blood glucose levels. That you would do pre-meals to see if they're within range again. And but that's a different story, right? So upon waking, sometime in the afternoon to see, that's usually the highest point of your blood pressure. Post-workout to see if it came down a lot or increased a lot. And then before bed, 4 times a day. Yeah, keep a little log for a week or two, make the adjustments. And when you get 4 perfect readings for an entire month, then you probably don't have to test it on a particular protocol again. I check it maybe, I don't know, a couple times a week, if I remember. But my blood pressure is always in range. So, yeah, I don't check it that often anymore. I know exactly what's going on. Biscup asks, organ imaging in Thailand. I'm planning this, cancer markers, heart markers in the near future. Looks like it might be cheaper to go to Thailand, including flights, than do it in the UK. Okay, so let me link the locations down below for blood work. Bria Labs. I think I linked it last week, but might as well do it again. And Urapong Medical Center. Medical Center. Share. They don't have a website. Urapong Call Center. You can just go there. You don't need to make an appointment. And you just tell them which markers you want to check. Excuse me. And you get the results from Bria Lab the next day by email. In Urapong Medical Center, you can ask a printout, whether that's an X-ray or film of your MRI. Or not MRI, you need the prescription, but ultrasound at least. You can get a film of that, or you can ask them for a CD. That's what I usually do. Just ask for the imaging on the CD, and you take that home, use a file opener to transfer that to your computer, you throw away the disk, and then you have those files forever. It's not the most detailed, but at least it gives you an early indication of what you might want to do further testing of with an MRI or an ultrasound in a private hospital. But like thyroid and upper lower abdomen, prostate, all that stuff, it's like $50, $60. So cheap. I did it recently because I had some issues with my stomach. I wanted to see what's going on. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm here. Instead of spending $30 for a spleen and a liver and bile acid and or biliary ultrasound and stomach, I'm just going to do the whole thing. So I did the whole thing. I spent twice as much money, but from $30 to $60, it's not the end of the world. And every time I go for blood work, I'm like, you know what? I'm here. Might as well spend the extra money to get all the data and get the full picture. So Bria Labs and Urapong Medical Center. And then once you get the results, you can go to Soy Cowboy to celebrate. JSS MC73 asks, in college 20 years ago, cycled Ergofarm 1AD. Oh, man. Pro hormones. It's one androstenedione, young and stupid. After that, I have issues with a watery stomach. Even very low body fat levels could have altered some aspect of the ring and angiotensin-aldosterone system of aromatase activity. Even with a six-pack, water hanging around the stomach, but low-dose AR resolves this issue. I would need to see your full blood work. For that, I can't diagnose you over the internet. It could be that you're a glutamine deficiency, or you have stomach issues, and it highly depends on what you're running right now. So do some blood work and schedule a consultation, because with this, I can't really pinpoint what is going on. All right, let's get to some super chats. That 666. Okay. Is it feasible to pin growth hormone in the morning and then CJC1295 and ipamorelin at night on an empty stomach? It's a lot cheaper than buying more growth hormone. Yeah, you should be able to do that, even though the growth hormone in the morning will increase IGF-1 levels, which might send a negative feedback on the growth hormone secretagogues CJC1295 and ipamorelin. At night, I think the net positive outcome is that your serum growth hormone will still be higher at night than without the growth hormone in the morning, but your IGF-1 levels might not budge more, right? Because IGF-1 is the biggest downregulatory factor or hormone of further growth hormone secretion from the pituitary and further IGF-1 secretion from the liver predominantly. So yes, 2 use growth hormone in the morning and what is it? 300 micrograms, 150 micrograms of each of CJC and IPA, give or take. Oneurosis. Hey, Steve, what do you think about 500 test, 100 deca for joints, and 300 to 400 milligrams of Primo? Yeah, sounds good to me, man. Your estrogen should be in range. It should be one hell of a cycle. I've done similar cycles like that with great results. Jean Furious, or Jean. Hey, nice to be here. Any known compound supplements to shift low switch muscle fibers to fast or at least type 2 or 2X that are faster contraction? Off the top of my head, no. I know that carnitine and SLU PP332 shift muscle fiber types, but off the top of my head, I can't remember for the life of me. Actually, SLU PP332 does shift it to type 2A, or is it type 2X? Jeez, I already forgot. This kind of stuff I don't remember, but I don't know. Type in a compound and type in the muscle fibers. From the top of my head, all I remember is carnitine and SLU PP332 shift muscle fiber types, and I'm trying to think extra hard now. I've researched so much compounds, and it's hard to remember all of the nuanced changes. You would think that anything that has an effect on the mitochondria or is just a metabolic modulator does shift fiber content types slightly. But then again, training has a more pronounced effect, right? And every time they investigate carnitine, SLU PP332, or another compound that might shift muscle fiber types, it's in a non-trained state. So, you know, how much of an effect you will have when you're training for a particular muscle fiber type, or with particular endurance or faster contraction for explosive power, right, for MMA or boxing or whatever, you might already have the maximum amount of muscle fiber types for that particular sport. And drugs is not going to move the needle in any way, shape, or form besides improving your metabolic function and thus give you more endurance and power that way. But it's not from changing the muscle fiber type. So off the top of my head, it's those two. Best time to take 3 AUs of growth hormone. It doesn't really matter, man. Get it in. But if you get sleepy, take it before bed. Ryan, what's up, bro? I cannot find definitive proof Primo inhibits aromatase. No, there's no scientific evidence. There's one biotransfer or two biotransformation metabolites, but those are produced by fungi that have aromatase inhibiting potential in vivo, so not in vitro, in vitro, not in vivo, so not in animal models, just in the petri dish. So we're just going by blood work results, right? It's the same as boldenone. There's no scientific evidence that shows that it inhibits the aromatase enzyme. Same for Primo or some of its metabolites. This is purely experience from millions of blood work results that I've taken or I've seen and other people in the fitness industry have seen that have been coaching for a very, very, very long time. So this is just bro knowledge for now. But there's at least 2 metabolites that are produced with fungi from Primo, and Primo's in the pipeline right now to be reintroduced as a pharmaceutical, or maybe some of the metabolites, for a particular usage in medical settings. So it could displace testosterone from the androgen receptor, but it could also displace testosterone from the aromatase enzyme. Again, no scientific evidence to back that up, but based on blood work results, we see that masterone in some individuals lower serum estradiol levels, Primo in most individuals lower serum estradiol levels, and the same for boldenone and dihydroboldenone as well. And proviron does it also. There's also no scientific evidence that proviron lowers estradiol levels by inhibiting the aromatase enzymes. And most of the studies performed, they don't keep track of serum estradiol because primobolan and masterone are prescribed in cases of postmenopausal women with breast cancer, where serum estradiol levels are low, and they don't track serum estradiol levels to see if they go down any further. They just want blockades at the receptor site and anti-estrogenic effects at the breast tissue, but whatever is going on in serum, the researchers have apparently no interest in. So, yeah, I'm super chatting you forever, Bo. Shit, man. Maybe we should do a discount package. Just send me like $1. I'll see your name, man. Fuck. Not $20, bro. Too much. Too beaucoup. Kratos, welcome to the Vigorous crew. Yeah, with a name like that, you also need to have a body like that. I hope you have a thick beard and a red scar. Pool shot guy, I'm going to go see my nana at the plaza and get some coffee at Therme. Then the gym. Is this a good protocol? Depends on which gym, because there's multiple gyms around that area, right? You can go to Fitness First in Landmark, but then a little bit further, there's also a gym actually closer to Therme. I would go to Nana Plaza. I would go to the gym first to get a pump, then go to Spanky's at Nana Plaza to warm up, and then go to Therme's and pick out whatever you prefer. Yeah, I think that's the best option, right? You get a pump first, then you get a couple slaps on a couple glute shots, a little bit of a deep tissue massage therapy session at Spanky's, and then at Therme, you wear out your lower back, and then do another cardio session, and then you go to bed. Because at Therme's, allegedly, prices are half because you don't have to pay bar fines, which you do need to do at Nana Plaza, and you have 2 drink minimum at some of the bars, which you don't have at Therme because they're all freelancers. How do I know? I've been here too long. Anthony Nelson, what is the cutoff point in dosages for Anavar where your strength level is no longer in a proportion to the increased dosage? I know for me it's 25 milligrams, but it might be 50 for you. So start low, build your way up, and see where you end up. That's my answer for all of these questions. It could be different, and it could be that your Anavar is not 10 milligrams for 10 milligrams, but 5 milligrams or 2.5 milligrams for the 10 milligrams is labeled. I have pharmaceutical grade Anavar, so I get 10 milligrams for 10 milligrams. But if you end up at 100 milligrams and then your strength starts to taper off, it's probably 25 milligrams. Dumpster Buster, started glutamine for intestinal after your tip. Bonus is that I don't have acid reflux anymore. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, it's stupid that I didn't add it in sooner, man. It's like I didn't run it for a year because I don't need it when I'm off cycle. But now my intestinal lining is just thinner, and with the oral steroids on the ancillaries and whatnot that I'm running, it was a little bit impaired. So I got relief within 1 or 2 days, and now my stomach is great, dude. I fasted for 3 days after the holiday to a UTI because I ate a little bit too much, as usual. So now my face is a little bit more streamlined again. Sexy man. Yeah, good stuff. This morning was really sunken in. It was like this. So I wanted to fast 4 days, but this morning I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, fuck. I was like, when you're small, when you're washing your skull, and you're like, it should be here, and then it's here. You're almost bone on bone, and then it's time to reintroduce the food. Aaron asks, hey, I want to add Anadrol when I should use every day or pre-workout. Well, if you're working out 5 times a week, it's basically every day, right? So up to you, man. Maybe do pre-workout first for 2 weeks and then go to every day, depending on how you respond to it. But if you do it every day, I would split it 25 milligrams in the morning or evening. But if that gives you too much bloat, then I would take 50 milligrams before bed on your rest days. VV, 12.5 milligrams per volume for natty with decent test impact. So yes, this is doable. 6.25 milligrams Proviron in the morning and evening. You can't call yourself natty anymore because Proviron is a steroid and it's on the WADA prohibited list, so you're no longer natty. But it might not affect your natty testosterone and luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormones. If anything, total testosterone, free testosterone, luteinizing hormone might go up. Follicle stimulating hormone stays about the same. Because Proviron inhibits the conversion of testosterone into estradiol, thus your estradiol levels come lower, and you have less of a negative effect on your hypothalamus and pituitary, and thus luteinizing hormone goes up, but you also prevent the conversion of testosterone into estradiol, so you get more luteinizing hormone signal in the testicles, increasing your testosterone levels, and less aromatization to estradiol, increasing your testosterone levels, and now you're increasing the potential to convert into DHT, dihydrotestosterone, and Proviron is a DHT derivative. So, yeah, the impact might be hair loss, but your testosterone levels will be higher. Is there a benefit to eating 5 to 6 meals over 4 credits? Is there a benefit to eating 5 to 6 meals over 4 if carb intake is 8 to 850 grams over the day? I prefer 4 with about 200 grams each every 4 hours, no intershake or anything special. Dude, when you look like that, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't need my advice. Look at how thick you are. Look at those abs in the fucking chest and shoulders. You can't even fit in the fucking avatar. So, dude, if it clearly works, I have nothing to say to you, but keep fucking going, man. I've done 200 carbs per meal over 5 meals, right, when I was eating 1,000 carbs per day. I've done 100 carbs over 5 to 6 meals or 150 carbs over 5 to 6 meals. What matters is that you can digest it and that your stomach is still reasonably flat at the end of the day. So if you can stomach 200 carbs from 600 grams of rice per sitting 4 times a day, go for it. If you need a little bit higher caloric meal, so you mix in a banana with your rice, or I don't know, some quinoa, or sweet potato, or fuck dextrose, whatever, or hybrid cyclic dextrins with your rice, right? Whatever to make it work when you're eating this much carbohydrates, fucking gummy bears or fruit, go for it, man. I don't think it's going to be any different. So it's clearly working. By all means, keep going, bro, because you look fucking juicy. Mohammed, hey Steve, if I can't do daily fasted cardio due to work, can I stay fasted for 5 to 6 hours during work time? Does this count as fasted cardio? Yeah, if you're moving around a little bit, but you can also wake up 30 minutes earlier. I was doing daily fasted cardio when I was going to school. I was doing daily fasted cardio when I was going to work. I just wake up earlier. You know, unless you're on your feet the whole day. Right, you're doing manual labor, or you're in hospitality, for example. Yeah, maybe you skip breakfast. You take orders for 2 hours. You get your fucking fasted cardio in that way, and then you have your breakfast at lunchtime. Find a way, man. Find a way. Find a way, because you still need protein if you want to grow. Hard for crypto, my man. I'm getting SSRI withdrawal-like symptoms, no brain zaps. I haven't changed any of my medications. It seems to be occurring around the same time, early mid-afternoon. If I add methylene blue, could that help? Okay, so I need a little bit more information from you. What SSRI were you running? Did you taper off? Or did you get SSRI withdrawals-like symptoms without running an SSRI? I would need to know a little bit more information from you, because I'm not sure if the methylene blue would help with that. Like, I came off fluvoxamine or vortioxetine. I had no withdrawal symptoms because methylene blue is acting like a MAOI inhibitor. And I started supplementing with 100 milligrams 5-HTP about 10 days after the vortioxetine came out of my system. And now I'm feeling pretty freaking good. Actually, I'm feeling the same as when I was on fluvoxamine. Yeah. So 5-HTP. And 100 milligrams 5-HTP before bed and 5 milligrams methylene blue in the morning. Good shit. But for your case, I need to know a little bit more. So please specify in a follow-up question. I'll be looking for your username. Anthony Nelson, 400 milligrams test, 300 EQ, 100 DECA, 100 tren, AI. Okay. How much HCG would be best to maintain testicular size and volume? Well, on 100 DECA and 100 tren, I don't think it's going to do much. I would rather reintroduce the HCG when you're cruising again. What including HMG would worth the high cost. What's your HCG video? Need more info. Okay, so anecdotally, on anything over 100, maybe 200 milligrams deca, but certainly on any dose of Trembolone. On 25 milligrams Trembolone per week, my HCG is still working, but I'm not running any deca. So 25 milligrams Tren versus 200 milligrams of progestogenic 19 Ors, there might be a difference. I would not run HCG right now, and I would not run HMG because it's expensive and it's not as effective as FSH. So when you're on a cruise again, run 500 IOs HCG Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you'll get your testicular size and volume back. The testosterone might be high enough for the exogenous testosterone to end up in the intratesticular tissue and raise intratesticular testosterone levels and activate spermatogenesis through this pathway, but it might be inhibited from the nandrolone and the Trembolone also. So maybe do a semen analysis, check your semen volume, right? See where your fertility parameters are at, and then add in the HCG, run that for 4 months alongside this cycle, which by that time you're probably off this cycle already. Yeah, but the progestogenic 19 NOR signaling might inhibit the effects of HCG through an unknown mechanism because it hasn't been studied. You probably watched the HCG video, but you need more info. Yeah, there's not more much info than I can give you. So in this case, I would not run it. No. Red yeast rice or citrus bergamot on mastrone. Start with citrus bergamot first, and if that's not enough, you can add in the red yeast rice. Keep in mind that red yeast rice only lowers LDL because it's a natural lovastatin that inhibits the 17th or 19th step in cholesterol synthesis, and thus cholesterol levels, total cholesterol levels, and LDL levels go down. But citrus bergamot is the one that can actually increase HDL levels. But mastrone will crush that down too. So you might still end up lower than on a cruise dose, but it will be better with citrus bergamot than without it. All right, so, or you run citrus bergamot and ezetimibe. But if ezetimibe gives you sore joints, then yeah, run the citrus, run the red yeast rice. I'm in a cycle with MPP. Will adding pregnenolone make sides of progesterone worse? Should I only take DHA? Blasting for 2 years, neurosteroids are low. No, I would add in the DHA and pregnenolone for sure. But like if you're doing a cycle with MPP, so you're running, well, it's probably more than 100 milligrams MPP, right? And you're adding in 10 milligrams pregnenolone. How high is your progesterone signaling going to be from that compared to the nandrolone? I don't think it's going to move the needle in any way, shape, or form, man. So start with 10 milligrams pregnenolone and 25 milligrams DHA before bed. Maybe increase that to 25 milligrams pregnenolone and 50 milligrams DHA, depending on how your neurosteroid levels improve. And then keep track of your serum progesterone levels, unless the nandrolone is detecting as progesterone, and that means that they're already sky fucking high. On blood work, not actual progesterone levels. Due to Tren usage, my prolactin is high. Also taking 100 milligrams fluvoxamine daily. Is that a bad idea to adding cabergoline? I have not looked into the drug interaction of cabergoline and fluvoxamine because I didn't feel the need to run cabergoline when using fluvoxamine. Otherwise, I would have looked into that. Start with L-tyrosine, vitamin B6, vitamin B6, P5P. Jesus. L-tyrosine and vitamin B6, P5P to increase your dopamine levels. That might be enough to offset your prolactin levels. And then find the other root cause besides the Trembolone. If you're smoking weed, not or taking kratom, or not sleeping enough, or taking growth hormones or Secretagogues, that can also increase your prolactin levels. So look for multiple angles, and otherwise lower the Tren dosage. My prolactin is totally fine on 25 milligrams Tren per week, and oh, it's clearly working. Look at this shred. Shred it. Small, though, because I didn't have any carbs today, and I didn't have any carbs for 3 days. Adrian Croak, what's up, bro? Just saying hi. I hope all is well. All is well, buddy. It was good to see you today on Instagram. You look absolutely shredded. Shredded. Are you preparing for another summer cruise? When Adrian goes on a cruise, it's a proper cruise on a boat, and then he visits all the cool places in Europe, and then 9 months later he gets phone calls from all the ladies that he impregnated. You owe me alimony. Actually, I think he goes with his girlfriend. But he is having a good time. Adrian, you look fucking great, man. Good work. Hope to see you in Thailand again soon. Is Ozempic more effective than Clenbuterol T3 for weight loss? What side effects can I expect with it? Well, significant appetite reduction and less heart rate stimulation. So it's a different mechanism, right? So semaglutide is a glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonist. It secretes or it promotes insulin secretion when glucose is entering the bloodstream. So you have more stable blood glucose levels when you eat carbohydrates, but it significantly blunts your appetite by slowing gastric emptying, so you don't feel like eating so much. So you eat less carbs, and when you eat carbs, you get better insulin and glucose management. So that's why it's an anti-diabetic medication. So people don't overeat, don't eat like pigs anymore, because keep in mind, type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease. Type 1 diabetes might be inherited. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease, just like many cancers, right, from smoking, drinking, that kind of stuff, oxidative stress. So when you take Ozempic as a totally healthy individual, the side effects that you might experience is blunted appetite. And if you use it continuously at the pharmaceutical dosages for very long periods of time, then you might have issues with your pancreas. I would never recommend the pharmaceutical dosages. I would recommend low dosages, injected subcutaneously 3 times per week, one Wednesday, Friday, and then building up as needed. Right? But you don't need to end up at 20 milligrams semaglutide once per week. That will certainly give you issues. Now, clenbuterol works on the beta-2 adrenergic receptors, so that it promotes fat loss that way, increasing your heart rate, improving central nervous system stimulation, so you might train harder. And T3 improves metabolism. So if you eat more protein, less carbs, and less fat, you have a tendency to burn more body fat because it keeps promoting the turnover of energy, including freshly liberated adipose tissue, right? Especially if you use that with clenbuterol. So semaglutide, appetite management, and clenbuterol T3 is metabolic modulation. And if you run all three, you get the best weight loss. You still need to make sure that you go to the gym, and you still need to make sure that you get adequate protein and healthy fats in. That seems to be the biggest roadblock for most people on semaglutide. What's the correct half-life for testosterone cypionate and Primo? See, answers ranging from 5 days to 10 days for each. I want the PCT. So it could be all over the place because it depends on the carrier oil. So I want you to watch the carrier oil deep dive video and the ester video. I'll link them down below because I explain everything there. Because it greatly affects how long it takes for your body to absorb these compounds. So it could be 5 days, it could be 12 days, it could be 15 days. I mean, testosterone undecanoate in castor oil has a half-life of 33.9 days, whereas in tea oil, it is a half-life of 19 days. Right, and then the injection depot really matters. So just do 5 times the long half-life, and if you're not sure, just stop it and wait until you feel androgen deficient, like I explained in the PCT video. It's like half this vigorous Q&A is like, oh, I got a video on that. I got a video on that. Oh, well. Let's see, where were we? So you just stop everything, you let everything metabolize, and when you feel like a little girl, go confirm that with blood work. And when you see that your serum testosterone and estradiol levels are like below the reference range, then you can start PCT because you have no negative feedback of the exogenous hormones, which is now completely metabolized. So yeah, and it could be 4 to 6 weeks. John Meadows speculated that generic growth hormone could be spiked with antidiuretic hormone. Ever seen some... Why is there a bug here? John Meadows speculated that generic growth hormone could be spiked with antidiuretic hormone. Ever seen somebody's antidiuretic hormone go up with generic growth hormone use? It's not something we generally test for. I can't test it on labs here, and I haven't seen it on many blood work options of the clinics in the United States or the UK. But yeah, you know, some of the brands would make you hold so much water that you would definitely, it would definitely contain antidiuretic hormone. So it's very simple. Run pharmaceutical grade first, get some experience with that, see how much water you retain on that, and then switch to a generic GH that might be a little bit more cost effective and see if you hold more water. If you have similar water retention, then it's probably due to impurities, right? Pharmaceutical grade growth hormone is what, 99.9, 99.7% pure, and then generic GH might be 99.5% pure. Okay, for the extra impurities, you might get a little bit of water retention. And whether those are growth hormone peptide fragments, right, that's fallen apart, or something that happens in the lyophilization process or some of the binders, that's to be debated. But if you get like obscene water retention, where you switch from 2AU's pharma to 2AU's generic, and you get another 10 pounds, then there's definitely something wrong with it, and you should switch to another generic GH brand. So I ran the generic, or whatever, the very good Underground Lab growth hormone that I'm running right now at 10 IUs. Then I ran Eli Lilly, 10 IUs Sizen. Right, is it Eli Lilly? Sizen growth hormone. Is that Eli Lilly? Merck, my bad, Merck, Sizen. So I ran that 10 IUs for 7 days because I got the 72 IU pens. So one day I had 12 IUs, and I got a slight amount of less water retention compared to this generic or Underground Lab growth hormone that I'm running right now at the exact same dose. So I know that this growth hormone is good based on serum levels, but it's less pure than the pharmaceutical size that I was running. So this means that I can run this up until, let's say, a week before the Olympia, and then a week before flying. And then if I want to run the growth hormone up until flying to the Mr. Olympia, I could run the pharmaceutical growth hormone instead because I'll hold less water. And then within a couple of days of arriving in Vegas, most of the subcutaneous water retention from the growth hormone should be gone because I'll discontinue it at that time. So it's very simple. If you gain too much water, it's probably not good growth hormone. You should switch to something else. Where's the timestamps jokes aside? You are the best. Dude, as soon as I finish this podcast, where are the timestamps? People have no chill, man. People have no chill. That's why I stopped reading most of the comments. It's just... If you want to talk to me here, you can do it right here at the Vigors Q&A, but on the shorts on Instagram or in the comment section, oh man, I don't even want to. It's just makes my blood boil sometimes. I'm dieting too hard and I'm on trend to deal with it, so... I'll be back when I'm on the cruise. Sensei Steve, how do I mitigate Primo post-injection pain? I've been doing subcutaneous, switch to 100 milligrams per milliliter, thinking pain would be less, but it wasn't. Stays inflamed for a week. Think of doing smaller dosages daily. Thank you. Switch to another brand because what I'm using right now doesn't give me any post-injection pain. So, right, high dose concentration Primo usually has synthetic solvents or just brewed too strongly, basically. So yeah, if you're running 100 milligrams per 1 milliliter, switch to a different brand and try your luck elsewhere. Coach, any recommendations? Or Irfan asks, Coach, any recommendations for a cycle for $12,000 a month? Well, let me see if you can even afford that, because Turkish lira, 220. So you're sending me a $6.50 super chat where you're asking about a cycle for $12,000 a month. Buy the 10-hour package, and I'll teach you everything you want to know. If you have that much money to spend, get the 10-hour package. You will use it in 6 months or something, and I'll run you a $1,000 per month cycle, and you'll look fucking amazing. So you'll end up cheaper. Anyway, I'm not blessed with Kevin Larvoni's genetics, but my online marketing business ventures are doing well. Would you recommend IGF-1 or HGH at high dosages? You don't have $12,000. I don't even spend $12,000 per month in growth hormone and IGF-1. Start low, build your way up. Hire somebody to guide you. I would be more than willing to help you personally, if you have that much money to spend for blood work and organ imaging, and if you want to ramp up the dosages fucking high to get an absolutely stellar physique and you have the work ethic, then, dude, I can turn you into a freak, but not over the Vigors Q&A. It would be better if you sign up for a 10-hour package. You just outed yourself as a high-value individual with that much money to spend, so you can clearly afford me. Hire me, and I'll teach you everything you want to know, and we have a lot of contact, and I'll turn you into a freak in a year. Healthy. I promise you. I'll turn you into a freak healthy within a year. But you're going to have to spend money on proper guidance. So, and if you don't have money for proper guidance, well, I have an ebook. Bioidentical Hormones ebook. It's, what, $19 or something? And if you follow that to the T, dude, you'll turn up like a freak also and spend maybe $2,000 a month. All right, so let me link it down below. And since I'm a fucking cool guy, I'll also link you the step-by-step cycle design, which basically tells the core of the Bioidentical Hormones ebook step-by-step in a YouTube video for free. For free. But yeah, if you have that much money to spend, you'll be spending most of it on organ imaging, blood work, and pharmaceutical grade stuff. And just the basics, man, because the basics you can run at higher dosages. Let me see, where is it? Here, $23 is the ebook. All right, give that a read. Emre, okay, here it is. I've been using methylene blue 10 milligrams per day, but I'm worried about its nitric oxide blocking effects. Any thought? I haven't looked into that yet, and I'm not noticing any of that. If anything, I'm more pumped or more vascular. I didn't notice anything in my blood pressure, so I still need to do a lot more research on methylene blue. So for now, I have no opinion on that question. Sorry. Would T3 or T4 be useful for speed power for non-enhanced athletes? You're enhanced if you take thyroid medication, even though they're not on the prohibited list. If so, any quick protocols? Thank you. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. If T3 would increase your energy demand and would probably reduce your power and speed. And T4, without other pharmaceuticals, is not going to do much. Unless you have Hashimoto's disease and you already have it prescribed. Okay, so Art for Crypto, he's taking duloxetine 60 milligrams daily and haven't stopped. Okay, so if you're getting SSRI withdrawal symptoms, then it's clearly not working. You either might need to double the dose. I'm not sure what the half-life is. Duloxetine half-life. I'm not familiar with this SSRI. Okay, so duloxetine has an elimination half-life of about 12 hours, ranging from 8 to 17 hours. So instead of taking 60 milligrams daily, you might have to take 30 milligrams twice per day, right, to prevent the SSRI withdrawal. And you can't combine this with methylene blue because now you get serotonin, selective serotonin reuptake inhibition and MAOI inhibition from the methylene blue. And I did that for one day with the vortioxetine, and I got straight up serotonin syndrome. I had weird dreams, and it was fucking hot, and I had diarrhea. It was not fun. So you either need to come off the duloxetine and then transition into methylene blue after the duloxetine is fully metabolized, which is what I did. I let the vortioxetine fully metabolize, and when I got slight SSRI withdrawal symptoms, I went to the methylene blue, and then a week later on methylene blue, I added in 5-HTP, and now I feel good again. Right? I'm self-prescribed. So keep that in mind. If this is a prescription for you, then I would run this past your prescribing physician, obviously, because I'm not very well versed in SSRIs, as you guys very well know. I'm very well versed in steroids, but not SSRIs. Alex Hernandez, 25 milligrams Anavar for 6 weeks with HCG. Is there another oral you would recommend? I can't run injectable since I need to PCT fast for basic training. Okay. So, you can run any oral with that. Turinabol, Anavar, not the Anabol because it converts into methyl estradiol, has a negative effect on the HPTA. Besides the HCG, also has a negative effect on the HPTA, but it might take longer to recover. Anavar, Turinabol, man. That's about it. How do you feel about drinking a gallon of milk per day, fat-free? I made a short about this, and then people were complaining, as usual. People were also complaining about the trazodone that I mentioned in the short today. Basically, people are always complaining. So if you want to drink a gallon of milk, go for it, man. I don't fucking care what you do. You can go for it. You don't need my approval. You don't need my permission. You can drink a gallon of milk or take trazodone, all that you like. I have no opinion on the matter. Personally, I wouldn't do it. But if you want to do it, then go for it. Should I be worried about high calcium? The amount of calcium in a gallon of milk is probably not as much as you would get from some over-the-counter supplements or from some of the other nutrients that you're getting. If you're taking calcium, not calcium, casein caseinate, that has so much calcium that I would be worried about if you're taking like 3 servings of casein supplement. But a gallon of milk, no, not really. Eating 5,000 calories daily. Anyway, to mitigate issues with the calcium, take some vitamin D3 and vitamin K upon waking and before bed to help with calcium shuttling, and you should be okay. Personally, I would rather eat more food. But if you want to drink a gallon of milk, fucking go for it, man. I see the raw milk ambassadors in the comment section already. Oh, there used to be raw milk. Raw milk, even though it's banned in the US. And then you have Paul Saladino walking around like a breadstick. Fear-mongering. You guys can do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Been over a week on Methylene Blue. Has been... What? Okay, he's been on Methylene Blue for a week. My energy and alertness has improved significantly. Apparently it's noticeable because people. Okay. Well, the writing skills have not improved. So, I'm going to take your word for it. PO in Earth became a member. Welcome to Vigorous Crew. What's up, bro? Okay, apparently it's also noticeable because multiple people have been asking me what I've been taking. Yeah, I'm in a good mood too, man. It's good stuff. I like it. Methylene Blue and 5-HTP is way better than 5-HTP by itself or Methylene Blue by itself. Okay, Adrian is going to do a cruise Rome to Miami in November. Thanks a lot. Okay, Rome. So where are you going to stop over? Google Maps. Let me whip out the map. So he's going to start in Rome, Italy. Is that Sicily? Hopefully you're stopping over at, is it Sicily? Of course, Google Maps doesn't give me... Oh, Corse, maybe? Marseille, Barcelona, Valencia, Malaga, Marbella, Lisbon, and then off you go to some of these little Caribbean islands, Santa Cruz. And then maybe the Bahamas and then Miami? Sounds good to me, man. I should do one of these, but maybe when I have kids. I don't think I could be locked up on a boat for so many weeks. Steve, am I addicted to steroids? Aren't we all? I said I wasn't going to run a heavy cycle, and here I am. I love taking them. Injecting days are my favorite days. I love the smell of alcohol wipes. I get a semi-erection every injection. It rhymes, so it must be true. I get a semi-erection every injection. Feel free to quote me on that. Every oral feels like oral intervention time. If you're making gains, then I don't see a problem with it. If you're doing blood work like I do every single month, then I don't see a problem with it. If you do your organ imaging once a year, then I don't see a problem with it. And if you can come off and still be content, maybe not happy, but content with yourself, then I don't see a problem with it. But if you drive your health into the ground, you don't do blood work, organ imaging, and you just keep ramping up the dose to the point you basically self-destruct, then yes, I have a problem with it. So we do blood work and organ imaging, and we discuss cycles with our wives or significant other to kind of keep a lid on it, right? And then when we see something off, then we need to make some adjustments. But up until now, besides the digestive issues that I had that I fixed with glutamine and some dietary adjustments, my blood work is good and my organ imaging is good, so I don't see a reason to stop. Plus, I'm on 750 milligrams steroids per week. It's not the end of the world. So, and yes, after Mr. Olympia, I'll go on a cruise because I don't need to be fucking big just sitting here. Right? I would like to be big and jacked and saucy for the Mr. Olympia Expo, but after that, I don't need to. So hopefully you're preparing for the Mr. Olympia too, and then we can discuss oral like orals and semi-erections every injections and have a good laugh about it. I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah, so we can be a best addict. What? Best addict friends? Yeah, something like BAF, whatever. How are you feeling since adding tren back into your stack? The same as the last time. Slight irritability at certain points during the day, but this week I took a week off. You know what's weird? Every time I take a week off, I'm just happy-go-lucky. I think it's this training to failure or close to it, and just knowing that you have to put in a certain amount of effort every workout, and you go to the gym 5 times a week. And then after 4 weeks or something, I start to get irritable, and then I take a week off or a cruise, and then all that irritability goes away. So I haven't stopped my trend this week, but my mood has significantly increased by taking a week off from the gym. Maybe I should train less hard, but what's the point? Using Lantus 20-to-1, so that's 20 grams of carbs for 1 IU of Lantus, I'm assuming. So you're running 40 IUs of Lantus for your 800 grams of carbs. Do I get that correctly? Would it be beneficial to take 2 days off Lantus to preserve insulin sensitivity? Rest days have 1K lower calories from carbs. Would increasing fat that day and lower carbs also help? I don't know. You can do that, but then your pancreas would take over, and it might be better on rest days just to lower the carbs, but keep using the Lantus at 20 grams of carbs per 1 IU of Lantus. So if you're lowering the carbs by 250 grams, then instead of 850 grams of carbs, you have 600 grams of carbs. So instead of 40 IUs of Lantus, you have 30 IUs of Lantus. And I don't think that's going to make a difference in insulin sensitivity. Keep track of your fasting glucose levels, keep track of your hemoglobin A1C, and when you check your fasting insulin levels, make sure you stop the Lantus for at least 2 days so you can get an accurate reading on your fasting glucose, because otherwise you get overlap from the Lantus that you injected. Daily fasted cardio, testosterone, magnesium with each meal. All these things, maybe a little bit of berberine here and there. It all helps, man. It all helps. Would increasing fat that day and lower carbs also help? You can lower the carbs further and maybe increase the healthy fats, particularly omega-3. So a lot of fish on your rest day, a lot of salmon, sardines, tuna, whatever. Omega-3s help tremendously with insulin sensitivity and could make up the lack of calories that you get by reducing your carbohydrates. But blood work and blood glucose tracking throughout the day can give you fundamental insight into your insulin sensitivity quite well. Still 20 minutes behind. I'm trying to catch up as fast as I can, guys. Hey, coach, running 350 milligrams test sip, 25 milligrams per varm per day, 20 milligrams tamoxifen, 50 milligrams Clomid, 5 Cialis. Is pregnancy possible if I stay on this? Or should I come completely off? It sounds like you want to give yourself a blood clot. I know coming off is more ideal, thank you. Check your LH and FSH levels. I think you can run the testosterone, the Proviron, the Cialis, take the tamoxifen out and reduce the Clomid to 25 milligrams or switch to 25 milligrams Enclomiphene for somewhat elevated LH and FSH levels. But I would rather have you come off. It just seems from all the blood work that I've seen, it seems that motility, morphology, and DNA fragmentation really starts to improve when you come off. Now, can you get your wife pregnant if you're young with average or subpar motility, morphology, and DNA fragmentation? Maybe, but if your wife is a little bit older or partner, then it's going to be more difficult. So I came completely off. My fertility parameters were absolutely stellar. Was it enough to get my wife pregnant? No, but it was enough to get 3 healthy embryos. So, through IVF, I don't think it was my fault. And I don't think it's anybody's fault. It's just a matter of waiting too long, right? But if I had kids 5 years ago, I would not be in this position of fuck you money, where IVF doesn't break the bank. And now I am. So even though the process takes significantly longer, it doesn't make a dent in my income or overall net worth. But 5 years ago, it would have. Yeah. 5 years ago, I might have gotten my wife pregnant without IVF. So you're in a different phase of your life. But run this protocol, reduce the Clomid or switch it to Enclomiphene, 25 milligrams check all your clotting factors. I mean, the clotting risk, it's for me, it's way too risky to run enclomiphene or clomid or tamoxifen for a longer period of time. But again, everybody has their different risk profile. Check your LH and FSH levels on this protocol with 25 milligrams clomid or enclomiphene after 3 to 4 months. Again, if you're willing to risk the clotting risks. And then if your fertility parameters didn't improve much, then come off, do HCG and FSH. Or come off completely and rely on natural LH and FSH production. On Onirosis. Hey Steve, I asked earlier about the test Primo cycle and a little bit of decade. Currently I'm on 500 tests, taking 12.5 milligrams Aromatase 2 times per week. When should I drop the AI my first time pinning Primo? No, I would continue that for about 2 weeks because it takes about 2 weeks for Primo to build up serum levels. So continue, and you're probably starting the Nandrolone at the same time. So you go from 500 tests to 500 tests, 100 Nandrolone and 400 Primo. And for the first 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, you give 12.5 milligrams Aromatase in Monday, Friday, and then drop the AI or drop it when you notice low estrogen symptoms, dry skin, creaky joints, that kind of stuff. But I would keep it in for a bit. P.O. Inneroth. Can I expect some life optimization benefits, better energy drive from TRT Plus if you're already on 500 nanograms with decent free T? Yes, because you're only 500 nanograms total testosterone with decent free testosterone when you test it, and it probably tapers downwards during the day. So if you go to TRT Plus and you bring your total testosterone up to 700, 800, 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, and it's like that the entire day, then you probably feel twice as good. Yeah. So I'm not trying to shill it to you, but most men feel 10 times better on TRT Plus after they come from an average testosterone level. Yeah, dude, my testosterone levels were like 850, and I felt 10 times better going to 1200. But I'm on a slew of other stuff that you don't check in your total testosterone level. Brandon Kelly, hey Steve, when is your desired day to be back into ketosis after refeed? The next day. Me too, 1 day per week. I don't think I'm on keto adapted as you. So the next day I'm in ketosis again, Monday afternoon. Maybe you need to be fully in ketosis for like 2 or 3 weeks with just a high fat meal on Sunday to really get fat adapted. And then you start reintroducing some carbohydrates. But again, I'm on so much metabolic modulation. I train hard. I'm always depleted. Even if I have 1,000 carbs on Sunday, I burn through it so quickly that middle of the day on Monday, I'm back into ketosis again, man. I mean, fuck, mirabegron and growth hormone and thyroid medication and SLU PP332 and daily fasted cardio and training balls to the wall. I'm a metabolic furnace right now. So even if I have 1,000 carbs on Sunday, which is probably just 500-600 carbs and a good amount of healthy fats, let's say 5,000 calories on Sunday, so twice my regular intake. Monday afternoon, back into ketosis, man. But it takes a while to get to that point. And I don't know how big you are and how hard you train and how much cardio you do, but the more you do and the more you take, the faster it goes. I've been running duloxetine 60 milligrams per day. I haven't stopped. I was planning on getting off of it. Methylene blue worked for me after watching your video. Seems promising. Okay, so you were planning to get off of it. I talked about you because of the half-life. You might need to take it twice per day. Give it a try for a week, man. Stop the duloxetine for a week. When the SSRI withdrawal symptoms are really bad, start 5 milligrams methylene blue in the morning and 100 milligrams 5-HTP in the evening. And then see if you feel any better. But I felt pretty fucking good on this combo. But I don't know if you got it prescribed medically and how bad your depressive symptoms were. Like, I wasn't depressed. I just wanted to run an SSRI for neurogenesis and for mood management. And I'm always a little bit irritable and I know, get upset for the smallest things. And it's in my family. My dad has it. My sister has it. And Star Wars references. But you get what I mean, right? It's just hereditary, the irritation for the smallest things. And I was just sick of it. So that's why I decided to run an SSRI, and then fluvoxamine offered a boatload of neurogenesis, which was certainly noticeable. So I felt that my overall quality of life improved, and I wanted to try vortioxetine because based on the scientific literature, I saw that vortioxetine is better for learning, memory recollection, and just potentiates more neurogenesis, but it killed my dick, so I can't. And it killed my orgasms, so I will never touch that again. So fluvoxamine is still the best SSRI that I've tried out of the 2 SSRIs, but this MAO inhibition from methylene blue with 5-HTP before bed hits the spot, hits the fucking spot, dude. Yeah, and well, then there's always low dose LSD, man. You know, microdosing LSD, that might be plenty of guys get off of SSRIs and microdose LSD or microdose mushrooms and get the job done. Yeah. Chris Rowe, finally caught you live. What's up, Steve? I hope you're not having to stay awake up late or wake up early just to see me. Mr. Camillo, 7 months member. Awesome. Appreciated the Dr. Dean and Kurt Havens video. Yeah, we put Trimbolone in the title, so we got views. Yeah, because last time we put mitochondrial optimization and it goes straight over people's heads. So we're going to do more clickbait titles, but still give you guys some educational content. Next one we'll record on September 25th, and it will drop before I go to Mr. Olympia. I went to test my generic GH. I took 4 IUs and went to do bloodworks, growth hormone serum test after 3 hours of intramuscular injection. Around how much should I get from that blood test? Okay, so I'll have to whip out the calculator. 33 divided by 10 times 4, I would say around 13. 14 would be good. Yeah, 12 to 14 nanograms per milliliter for 4 IUs. D. Brad became a YouTube member. All right. Welcome to the Vigorous crew. Is it okay to take 10 milligrams methylene blue daily, or should I consume it less often? I would only take it on workout days, and I would start with 5 milligrams per day. I mean, it's working for me, 5 milligrams per day, and I'm significantly bigger than you. So, yeah, right? I'm probably significantly bigger than you. So why don't you start with 5 milligrams on workout days, 5 times, maybe 4 times a week, and then you can always ramp it up from there. But again, higher dosages and daily use might lower your hematocrit, and then you lower your endurance, and you look like a... you're a motocross picture, so I'm assuming that you need some stamina. And hematocrit and red blood cell count is correlated to your stamina. So again, start low, build your way up, see where you end up. And then whatever dose you end up, if people say it's too low of a dose, people say it's too high of a dose, it's your individual dose, and other people should not judge. Because if it's working for you, it's working for you. If I start using injectable L-carnitine, which dose should I use? And also, should I stop taking oral? Yeah, you can stop taking the oral, and I would start with, 500 milligrams injectable L-carnitine sub-Q or intramuscular before activity. D. Brad, hey Steve, I'm very curious about your expertise on testing compliance with WADA. Do some of your athletes run TRT dosages and still keep less than 4 to 1? We're not talking about this publicly. Fuck WADA. If you wanna get drug testing advice, that's what I used to have consultations for, but I stopped. So they have carbon radioisotope testing, so they can test if the testosterone or epitestosterone is coming from exogenous sources. And even though you can buy testosterone and epitestosterone and take that in a 4-to-1 ratio, if they have carbon radioisotope testing, then they know that the testosterone and epitestosterone is coming from exogenous sources. But if you know 100% sure that they don't do that kind of test, they just check epitestosterone and testosterone with liquid chromatography tandem mass spectrometry, then you might be able to circumvent that. But we have private advice for this kind of stuff. And honestly, I stopped offering drug testing advice because new drug testing parameters have been rolled out after the Olympics, and it's just not feasible for me to stay up to date because I barely get drug testing consultations. So I kind of retired that service. What's up, Sean? Hope you're doing good. All good here, man. Thoughts on Paul Saladino animal-based diet? It turns you into a charlatan. If you want to do a carnivore diet, go for it. But I would modify carnivore diet based on your individual needs, and I would not listen to these kinds of people because they're pulling shit out of their ass and they're fear-mongering, and most of them are just fucking snake oil salesmen that are despicable. So whether Paul Saladino is a snake oil salesman or whatever, I mean, they're still in the same camp as Liver King. So, and look how far that ship has sunk. Jesus fucking Christ, it's atrocious. I think most of these carnivore guys have a stick up their butt. I don't think there's anything wrong with a carnivore diet, but you got to do your due diligence researching. And if you're complaining about oxalates and running your cholesterol run wild, then I don't know what's up with these guys, man. It seemed like all these carnivore guys have some serious mental issues and drink their own Kool-Aid. Then again, I'm not against the carnivore diet if you have severe intestinal inflammation and you need to follow an elimination diet. Then the carnivore diet is probably the best bet to get your intestinal inflammation and your gut microbiome and your overall inflammatory markers under control for 4 to 6 weeks. And then you start reintroducing fruit and carbs and whatever else you can reintroduce based on a food allergy test or based on what you feel makes the most sense. Because when you look at my diet, it's very close to carnivore. It's eggs, salmon, chicken, beef. Man, growth hormone hands can barely get this pinky in. And then kale. So that's not carnivore approved, right? So I have like 4 protein sources: salmon, eggs, beef, and chicken. And then non-carnivore is chia seeds, kale, green beans, salad vegetables, and some pre-workout supplements, collagen, protein, that's also carnivore approved. So it's half-half. I don't really eat carbs unless it's Sunday. That's definitely not carnivore approved. But, I have some fruit, obviously. And according to Paul Saladino, it's now okay to have some fruit in your work and some raw honey. It has to be Manuka honey or whatever. Just eat a balanced diet, man. Just eat a balanced diet and you'll be okay. The best thing you can do is avoid all the processed foods, right? Unless it's one time a week. Joey, sorry for making you wait. I plan on blasting and cruising for 2 to 3 years and then never touch steroids again. Never say never, dude. Should my last blast be a cut or bulk? Which one is better to retain the muscle? You will not retain any muscle, dude. Look how much muscle I lost after coming off for a year. This is not going to happen. Nobody's going to blast and cruise for 2 to 3 years and never touch steroids again. You'll probably be on TRT for life. You'll be fantasizing about your next cycle as soon as you come off for 4 to 6 weeks. So don't kid yourself. Join us in the TRT for life crew. You can come off cycle for a year to get somebody pregnant if you want to, if you really care about that. And then you'll be fantasizing about your next injection at the 3-month mark and then patiently wait until your partner is pregnant. It might take a year. James B. Dear Uncle Steve, for first cycle, is it realistic to use 1 milliliter of test probe sub-Q per day or better to back off and use half first cycle? So you want to use 700 milligrams test probe for your first cycle. Come on, dude. Use 50 milligrams Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Half a cc Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and build your way up from there. Or half a cc Monday to Friday for 250 milligrams and build your way up from there. You need to watch the first cycle video because you clearly didn't do research. I know we joke about this, that you need to take a milligram dose for the serum levels that you want, but that's a joke. So we're not going to inject 700 milligrams to get 700 nanograms per deciliter on our total testosterone level. You have to multiply it about 5 times. So if you take 150 milligrams a test, all right, 150 milligrams a test times 5 is about 750. And the reason why I'm 1200 is because I also take HCG. So I get another 500 nanograms per deciliter from the HCG. So plus 500 is 1250. That's exactly where I'm at. I take 156 milligrams testosterone annotated per week, daily subcutaneous microadministrations with 500 IOs HCG Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and have 1200 nanograms per deciliter. So 156 times 5 is about 750, 800 nanograms per deciliter plus 500 is 1250, 1300 nanograms per deciliter. take it from somebody who has experience. 700 milligrams testosterone propionate as a first cycle is too much. And you'll be covered with pimples, hair loss, acne, gynecomastia, and running for the hills. Start low, build your way up. You can always increase. Chris Rowe, curious what app software you use to manage all the gajillion notes, PDFs, and information that you must have. Word, all the important stuff I put in the Sickle Word document, but everything else I just got nicely filed in folders. So, and you have search tools that can just search through, I forgot what it's called now. I have a plugin that goes into Windows Explorer, and then if you search, you can search in files, and it goes through all the documents, and then you get like great searchers. I forgot what the plugin was called, but there's multiple, and it just searches through everything. So that way you can find, based on the folder that you search in, you can find information very fast. Dabo Nomo. If someone hypothetically wrote a Reddit post about you and certain king of liver, and the author of the post came by the Mr. O Expo booth, would you give that person a high five or beat them up? It depends on what they said about me. But then again, the weird thing is about people at the Mr. Olympia Expo, everybody's super nice and kind. So I never had a problem meeting people in real life. And the people that hate me in real life, when they come up to the Mr. Olympia, they act super friendly. Right? So I don't know, man. I don't read Reddit. And people write the nastiest things about me. So I always assume if people come up to me that they're supporters or fans, however you want to call it, like they like what I do here on the YouTube channel, and that they want to talk with me with their best intentions. And it takes some time to piss me off. And if you really piss me off, we'll go outside. Yeah, I have more than enough money to defend myself in lawyer fees. So most of the time, all of the time, I have a great interaction with people. And I don't keep track of who said what unless it's another social media influencer. Then I definitely know. There's people who don't like me. Clearly, I wouldn't even recognize or shake their hand or say hi to them. And if they want to come up to me and cause trouble, then, well, I'm with the biggest crew at the Mr. Olympia booth, so good luck. But I don't know, man. If you're talking about the Reddit post, the guy that figured out on Reddit that I was the coach, then I owe you a beer. There was one guy on Reddit that said, it's Steve the coach because of this time zone and this time frame and this blah, 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 blah. Because you're clearly a fan. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that. You clearly followed me around that time. And then I owe you a beer, man, because you clearly know what was going on and you clearly followed the channel, and that can be rewarded. So, but you would have to log in for me on that Reddit post and show that you're the original author, right? Because I'm not going to hand out beers for free. So, I don't know. If you're well-behaved, I'm well-behaved. And if you're not well-behaved, then, well, it will be a first. Medical industry is now investigating DNP under codename BAM15. Okay. Really? So somebody just asked me about this, but I think BAM15 is something else than a DNP. I mean, I know it's a mitochondrial uncoupler, but is it DNP? I thought it was directly investigated against DNP and that it showed that it didn't cause oxidative stress and what is it called? Is BAM15 really DNP? Didn't cause oxidative stress, and no, it's not the same structure. BAM15 is not the same structure, so it's a different compound. I think I read a study where it's directly compared against DNP, and with an effective dose of DNP, body temperature and oxidative stress went up, and with BAM15 doesn't seem to be the case. But I don't know. I'd rather run the mitochondrial support stack that I'm on now, because my last experience with DNP and mitochondrial uncoupling was not too pleasant. So, D-Brad got great anxiety on TRT out of nowhere. 175 milligrams TRT, 25 milligrams per day. 2.5 milligrams Nibivol. Once I up the dose, HCG from 250 to 500 IOs 3 times per week. Electrolytes are on point. 10% body fat. What's the cause of this? I want to mitigate this effect. Also added in 500 milligrams berberine, 200 milligrams ubiquinol. Could try any of these supplements might have heart palpitation, EKG, ECG. Reduce the HCG to 250 IOs. Maybe it's too much of an increase. All right? I mean, that's the only change you made, right? That's the only cause I could see. I mean, some people get crazy anxiety from HCG. So maybe it's too much testosterone for you. Maybe it's estradiol is too high for you. Maybe it's a tipping point on feeling good and having anxiety. So why don't you do blood work now and then compare that to blood work on 250 IOs HCG with the exact same protocol and see what has changed? Because maybe your estrogen went too high, maybe your testosterone levels went too high, maybe it's both. And again, anxiety is such a multifaceted problem. You know, is it elevated heart rate? Is it elevated blood pressure? Is it elevated hormonal response? Elevated central nervous system stimulation? I mean, take Glutamine Calm. That seems to be doing very well for people who experience anxiety on TRT or HCG protocols. Actually, a lot of guys are able to increase their TRT to TRT plus or HCG on this calm with phosphatidylserine and ashwagandha root extract. And what else? What else has it got? 1 second, I'm gonna find it here. You just got one supplement with everything that you might need. Gorilla Mind Calm. It's getting cold in here. Yeah, so I got ashwagandha root extract, 300 milligrams, phosphatidylserine, 300 milligrams, rhodiola rosea, 300 milligrams, L-theanine, 200 milligrams, and saffron extract, 15 milligrams. So you take 4 capsules before bed, do some blood work, see where your total testosterone, free testosterone, estradiol, etc. is at compared to 250 IOs HCG. Still drop the HCG back down to 250 IOs after you've done blood work, and then see if you can increase it again to 500 IOs after you get your blood work results back, and you've analyzed the differences between different HCG protocols. Now you have some time for this Glutamine Calm to build up. But, you know, I don't think it has to do much with your heart. Heart palpitations, yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Do some blood work and take it from there. On 350 milligrams testosterone, 175 Primo, 175 Masteron, estradiol, and mood in good balance. I want to increase 200 milligrams, but interviews coming up over the next 3 months don't would impact my mood. Best way to increase mast only. Well, it's a 25 milligram increase, so go for it, man. So you go to 350 test, 200 Primo, 200 Masteron, and I don't think that's going to affect your mood at all. It's a 50 milligram increase. And how much percent is that? You're on 700 milligrams, right? 750 divided by 700. It's not even a 10% increase. It's a 7% increase. So just increase it. You have 3 months to make adjustments. Relax. Steve, I mentioned PIP from subcutaneous testosterone cypionate last week. Chase's carnitine leaves some spot too. Could it be the BA or benzobenzoate? It could be the carnitine itself. I mean, carnitine causes some post-injection pain. I have pharmaceutical carnitine, and it still causes a little bit of irritation, but it's not terrible. So I don't know. Could be. Switch to another brand. See how you respond to that. Switch to whatever you can get your hands on. But sometimes it's just the carnitine itself. Maybe you need to inject deeper, or maybe go sub-Q. Morning coffee. Is there a question? Oh, here. Ironman athlete. Coach wants me to take EQ. Will this help endurance speed? No. No. If you want to take something, just take hormone replacement therapy, 150 milligrams testosterone antidepressant per week, and look into the endurance deep dive. I'll link you. Man, there's so many videos on that. You know what? I'm going to make it easier on myself. Go to YouTube. Search endurance. Search query. Go watch all these videos. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, link down below. You get like 13 endurance videos. It's too much to mention, and I watch that video, take some notes, run it past your endurance coach, but EQ is very low on your priority list. I would look into low-dose testosterone, 125, 150 milligrams testosterone per week, methylene blue, ITTP, what is it? Inositol tripyrophosphate for hemoglobin, oxygen affinity, mildronate for carnitine synthesis inhibition and shifting energy production purely to glucose. Maybe hypoxin to prevent hypoxia, or Bemetil for a little bit more nootropic benefit. And then cordyceps, ubiquinol, rhodiola rosacea. I mean, there's so many adaptogens and stuff that you can use. So watch the endurance deep dive, and you'll see that I mentioned that EQ and anabolic steroids in general are very low on the priority list. Very low. ET Fitness, ask the question above, figured I'd drop a super chat. All right, ET Fitness. I don't see it. I don't see it. Can you drop it again? No, I don't see it, buddy. Can you please drop it again? Jeez, it's been 20 minutes ago since you posted this. Yeah, sorry guys. This is so many questions that it's impossible to get back. So if you want to ask me a question, just ask me again. Don't make it difficult for me. Make it easy for me because there's like 500 questions in the chat every time I do this. So sorry, buddy. Just post it again. I'll keep my eye on your username, and hopefully I can find it a little bit later on. Connor 6 times. 160 milligrams testosterone TRT per week. Started cut 6 weeks ago at 204 pounds, 90% body fat by DEXA. Lifting, cardio, and hitting macros have been perfect. I'm only down 3 pounds, but visibly have done a recomp. When are you optimizing a cut? Do you find your visual signals of decreasing body fat percentage enough? Do you continue restricting calories and hit the weekly weight loss total? Thanks. Now, okay, so you're on TRT, you're recomping, your body fat levels go down, and your body weight stays the same, so that means you're gaining muscle. Go by pictures. Take pictures every week. And as long as the pictures look better every week, then you're doing good. And as long as your strength stays the same or goes up, then you're still doing good. If your strength is coming down, and your body composition is not improving, increase the TRT with a 10% or 50% increment, maybe 50%. So you go from 160 milligrams testosterone per week to 240 milligrams per week. Then you should increase the strength and allow you to continue fat loss for the exact same caloric intake. And then once you top out at maybe 350 milligrams testosterone per week, then you start cutting the calories more if you're still not happy with your body fat levels. So again, watch the step-by-step cycle design video. It explains everything. But if you're making progress, the body weight doesn't mean a fucking thing, man. It depends on how you feel, how you look. So if you look leaner, if you feel strong, and you feel like fucking still, then, you know, who cares what the body weight is? The girl's not going to ask you, hey, how much do you weigh or how much do you bench? She cares about your abs. So if you're 90% body fat on your DEXA scan, you're probably 15% in pictures, and it means you're already getting leaner. And once you start seeing a six-pack more and more and more and more, then you're doing something right. Any vigorous movie recommendations series? I have not seen anything good. I just finished Game of Thrones Season 8. Oh my God. And I haven't really seen anything. I tried to watch Boneyard. I couldn't, after the first 20 minutes, I have to turn it off. So, no, I just finished Game of Thrones. Actually, if you watch Game of Thrones from start to finish, the ending is not as bad because Daenerys wanted to burn King's Landing from basically season 1 onwards, or ever since he got the dragons in season 2. So it's been building up that way, but they could have handled it a little bit better. I mean, Jon Snow turned into a complete simp. My queen, my queen. My God, man. But yeah, it's not as bad as the first time watching it because you're really rooting for Daenerys to take over, and then she still burned the city down, and Jon Snow turned to a fucking loser. He should have just grabbed that birthright by the balls and went full Targaryen on her ass. I said, "Hey, listen, Auntie, I'm the rightful king of the North and the Seven Kingdoms," and nobody would have complained. Back to back to Dothraki land. You can reign over the grass fields. Confident social stack. What about occasional versus daily stack? Since Phenibut, for example, can be used on a daily basis. No, that's occasional use only. I like methylene blue. Dude, honestly, confidence in social stack just comes with exposure therapy. So the more you expose yourself to humans, the more you have positive social interactions, the easier it gets. Just get out there, right? If you need a drug to get out there, it's probably not good. So if you don't have the confidence, come to Thailand for a year. You'll be forced to be social. Everybody's social here. It did wonders for my social confidence because you come from Holland. It's a little bit cold. It's a little bit people are a little bit off-putting and standoffish and that kind of stuff. It's not easy to get in contact with people unless it's summer, where everybody's a little bit more relaxed and outgoing. But in Thailand, it's always summer. So if you want perfect exposure therapy, go live in Thailand for a year, whether that's in Bangkok or Chiang Mai or Phuket, Pattaya, Hua Hin, countryside, whatever. You'll get a fuckload of confidence and social skills because it's nonstop and you'll have to adapt fast. And then if you want to throw something at it, methylene blue puts me in a great mood. The Entrepreneur Nootropic Deep Dive has great confidence social stacks also for cognition. A little bit of alpha GPC, L-tyrosine, Gorilla Mind Respawn, man, puts me in a great mood. I'll link it down below. I have one scoop of that. If that doesn't put you in a social mood, then I don't know what will, man. And it's fucking legal and over the counter. Respawn. Oh God, where is it? That was probably the best formula you can just take as a confidence booster and then a social skills booster, because the verbal fluency is, well, as you noticed, I took methylene blue and Respawn today. Steve's on fire. Ginge Poker, also good to meet you at the Muscle Factory the other day. Yeah, it was good to meet you, man. So Ginge Poker is one of my VIP clients, and he lives in Thailand, prepping for a show, looking good. It's so funny. He walked over to me, and I was like completely zoned out last week on Saturday. It's like end of the week in the training block, right? So I'm zoning out training. I think it was Saturday, right? That I met you in the gym. I was completely zoned out, and I look at this guy, and he walks over, and I just stare right through him. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm one of your clients." And I look, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, fuck, I have you on consultation calls." It's so weird when you meet people in real life instead of through the Zoom conference calls. And at that moment, I was just completely blanked out, fucking depleted. So yeah, it was good to meet you. And if I stare right through you at the Missile Factory, it's not because of you, not because of Ginge Poker or anybody else. It's just because I'm dead tired at the end of the day, and I'm having my training. What is it called? Where you disassociate after sets, so you're like just out of it, trying to regain your composure. Are you coming to watch the PCA show in Pattaya? Any other PCA shows in Thailand? When is the PCA show? Let's see. Physique Culture Association. The one in Pattaya is... Oh, here. 27 October. Yeah, I should be there. I'll be at the PCA show in Pattaya. And that's the Elite Classic, right? So that's 27 October. And then the Bangkok Showdown on November 17th. And not the Gorilla Grand Prix in Phuket. Maybe. I was thinking about going to Phuket maybe Christmas time. Or I might go to Luang Prabang. And then there's an IFBB show. IFBB Thailand... IFB. Oh, they don't have the schedule here. Events. Pro qualifier. November 30th. Yeah, so I'll be in the October PCA show, the PCA show November 17th, and the IFB November 30th. I'll be all three, and then maybe the Phuket one, but I don't think so. That's 4 shows in a month. You know, I'll be a bit tired. Good to meet you, man. Gorilla Mind delivered to Thailand, no problem. No, they don't ship directly to Thailand, so you need to order Gorilla Mind stuff to Shipido or myus.com and then put your own customs invoice, right? $20. Health supplements, send it over, and then it gets right through. But I get it, I order like 10, 20 kilos of supplements every 3 months or something for me and Aaron. It's not for resale, so don't ask me. It's just for personal use. And then I use a shipping forwarder that gets it into a container. It takes about 2 weeks to arrive. And yeah, I can get anything through, including peptides. Yeah. Would HPTA recover from HCG monotherapy be significantly easier compared to a 150 to 200 milligrams of TRT same period? Same more or less. HCG would metabolize faster and allow you to PCT sooner, but if you run HCG monotherapy for a year or TRT for a year, I think the PCT process is going to be pretty much the same. Yeah. Steve, I guess you missed my super chat. All right. Too young. ET Fitness, still don't see it. Joey. Oh, here. Sorry. I was on TRT since 1 year. Past 2 months, added 200 milligrams Primo. My blood work is on point. How long can I run the cycle? When should I go for PCT? You can run it as long as you like, as long as your blood work parameters are good. So if you're on 200 tests, 200 Primo, I think you can run that until you're 60. You can PCT when you want to get somebody pregnant. You only need to come off when you want to get somebody pregnant, or your blood work is horrible. But on TRT plus 200 Primo, I don't see how your blood work could be horrible if you're living the lifestyle of healthy eating, daily fasted cardio, and all the health supplements and ancillaries. So I would be able to run that until I'm 60. All right, where are we? Steve, would you be interested in a study showing caffeine and oxandrolone co-administration increasing bioavailability of the oxandrolone? Yeah, I have that bookmarked. I still need to finish the oxandrolone deep dive, but I didn't. Oxandrolone I did second, right after the testosterone deep dive, but I didn't realize that I was going to review all of the scientific literature. So I didn't do that for the oxandrolone deep dive. So once I get through the other ones, and yes, I'll get back to recording. I've been lazy, I know. I've been doing other fun stuff. And give me this moment where I can spend some time with my cats and my wife and build the Deku tree from Lego. Yes, I did. I'll show you. We're going off topic now. But yes, I did buy 2. And yes, I built both of them. It's on my Instagram story if you want to see it. So I've been doing that all week. Sorry. I had to do something for myself instead of for the community. You know, I've been doing shit for the community for 5 years. Give me a break. Yeah, I have this study bookmarked, so it'll be included in the oxandrolone addendum deep dive. Thanks, Steve. I remember you said you were going to do a video on HCG effects on anxiety. I'll do a video about anxiety, but I want to do the SLU, PP332, Mirabicron, Methylene Blue, and Nandrolone deep dive first. Where are the videos from Injectable pre-workout from Anabolics Anonymous? Unfortunately, I had to take those offline because mentioning Anabolics Anonymous by their full legal name gets your channel deleted. So don't blame me, blame the YouTube. Nth parts, can you send me a DM again on Instagram because I can't, I don't remember your username and I don't put it in my primary because I do want to contact you for your speakeasy bar when I'm in Las Vegas in a month. So please send me a message again and then I'll contact you after Mr. Olympia so me and Aaron can swing by on our tour of duty through Old Town. Yeah, please do. ET Fitness, did you post something? No, right? What Runman said? Stampede is such a love-hate relationship. Love the pump, hate the pip. It's a domestic abuse relationship. Yeah, so you Stampede, you got to inject and then go straight to the gym and pump your way through the post-injection pain. That's, yeah. Can I still get AA and AP if I move to Thailand? AP sends into Thailand, but AA you would need to use a shipping forwarder because they only ship within the US, same as Science and a couple other sources on my source list. info@vigoroussteve.com. Don't contact me through the website form. Just send me an email at info@vigoroussteve.com and you'll get an auto reply. Don't make me do the extra work. Please. Yeah, AP ships here. I order shit from him all the time. Any knowledge or opinion on sodium glucose type 2 inhibitors? Yeah, so empagliflozin and dapagliflozin might be beneficial if you're running very high dosages of growth hormone and you're starting to notice that your serum glucose levels go sky high, which you can also mitigate with proper steroid dosages, daily fasted cardio, and proper nutrition. These are diabetic medications, medications for people who don't follow the lifestyle. If you follow the lifestyle, I don't see a reason why you would lose insulin sensitivity on higher dosages of growth hormone. I don't lose insulin sensitivity. Kurt Havens doesn't lose insulin sensitivity. Chase Irons doesn't lose insulin sensitivity. We all follow the lifestyle, daily fasted cardio, hard training, healthy eating, and the ancillaries to keep us healthy. I don't see a reason why we would need to run a sodium glucose type 2 inhibitor unless it's for a cheat meal. So sometimes on a Sunday when I know I'm going to eat fucking crazy, I go to the hotel buffet and I'm going to slam the dessert aisle 2 or 3 times, then yes, I might take empagliflozin 25 milligrams in the morning and again 25 milligrams at night to prevent my glucose levels from going too high and prevent me from gaining excessive amounts of body fat. Because when I hit the hotel buffet, I do want to eat. I do want to sample every dessert twice and then maybe go for a third round. So that's the only time I would run it. Yeah, and that's the worst way to run it, obviously. But yeah, that's like once a month or something, once every 2 months when I hit the hotel buffet. But, if you have a boatload of edema or losing insulin sensitivity or high glucose levels in general, and you can mitigate that by following the lifestyle, which I can mitigate by following the lifestyle, and most people can, then yeah, I don't see the reason to run it. Untamed STI. What happened to the blue? Why do steroids make your head bigger? Well, you get hypertrophy of this muscle here, the masseter, this shit, and this and this here. It all gets bigger. So you see clearly that my head has grown. And especially when I eat a boatload of food, you just retain a lot of water and your face expands. It sucks. Based on your research, are there any promising pharma developments in achieving superphysiological testosterone levels by modulating the hypothalamus and pituitary directly? Kisspeptin 10 doesn't work. People say it does. I haven't seen blood work on it still. Enclomiphene works, but it might increase clotting risk. And stem cells, or what is it called? What they offer through Circle DNA. The Dr. Adil Khan might have some sort of treatment with messenger RNA where your testosterone levels can go up to 1,000, maybe 1,200 nanograms per deciliter. We discussed that on the podcast that I did with him. But I haven't really been keeping up with that because, the exogenous testosterone has been working for many a bodybuilder and TRT guy up until now. which is better, 5-HTP or GABA? They work through completely different mechanisms and enhance or stimulate different neurotransmitter pathways. So, do some research. Steve, your Lego tree put a smile on my face. Yeah, I did. I wanted to do a live stream, and then I built the first one, and it took me 9 hours. And I was just building all the time, so I wouldn't be just managing, the chat and building and stuff. So I did it by myself. It was absolutely super relaxing, even though I did get some crazy lower back and neck pumps. So I had to go for a massage. But yeah, the Deku Tree build is absolutely great. And the good thing is I bought 2 sets because it's a 2-in-1. So I can't really see it, right, with this. So you probably can see, so this one, right, it doesn't have this much flowers on the top. So I took half of this is from this set, and then whatever was left over from this set, I extended this set. So my set looks way more complicated than you would see on the box because I enhanced the set with each of the other set, what was left. So it was great to build it according to the book and then enhance it with the leftover pieces. And now I might want to buy more Lego. Should just buy a fucking sports car, right? What I should do with my crypto gains is buy a fucking sports car. And I wanted to buy a house, but when you look at the real estate cycle, I can't buy a house until 2027, 2028, because it just doesn't make sense to buy a house now. And with the tax laws in Thailand, I don't even know if I can stay here, with the insane restrictions that are coming up. So let's see how that plays out. So all I can do now with my money is buy food and buy silly stuff. I might buy a car and another motorbike in November. There's a motor show in end of November, December. I'll go with my wife. I haven't driven a car in years, so I'll have to do some driving lessons again. But we need a car when we have a kid, obviously. So I'll buy a car and a motorbike, and then the rest of the time, I don't know what to do with my money, man. Just keep putting it in Bitcoin and assets, and yeah, this I spent $600 on the Lego tree, 2 sets. So that was fun. It's like two weekends of vigorous Q&As, sometimes 3. How's the Mirabic run working out for you? It's great. I'm going to switch to Clenbuterol, see how it compares, and then finalize up my notes for the Mirabic run deep dive. We'll purely be purely focused on fat loss, and it will not be a long one, but it will be a good deep dive nonetheless. $90+ stack without getting shut down. Alcar. I have a video on this. I can't remember off the top of my head, but all right, all natural testosterone boosting stack. This is the complete over-the-counter supplements with herbal extracts. I'll link it down below. So sorry, you could have used the search function, but I can't remember. It's like ashwagandha root extract, selenium, taurine, magnesium, vitamin D3, zinc, carnitine, L-car. I mean, it's not 90+ because it does increase your. I mean, acetyl L-carnitine or ICAR, right? L-carnitine obviously L-carnitine will help. Acetyl L-carnitine might help, but injectable L-carnitine is better, and ICAR is completely something entirely different. So watch the video down below. I list all supplements that are known to work in there. What if fitness? BP is usually around 120 to 75. I got a finger infection. Now it's been getting 139/80. Oh, that's pretty high. Pulse went from 60 to 70+. I got it cut out 2 nights ago, and it hasn't gone down. Anything I can do? You have an infection, so you need to take some antibiotics and maybe take an Abivol to bring your resting heart rate and blood pressure down a little bit. But I would discuss that with the doctor, because if you have a finger infection that goes septic, you can take all the Abivol that you want, but it's not going to fix the infection. So, take some antibiotics and ride it out. Since enclomiphene modulates the hypothalamus by decreasing estrogen levels, is there any reason why when controlling for the reduction of estradiol levels, it would be more effective than any other estrogen? No, enclomiphene doesn't reduce estrogen levels. It just blocks the estrogen alpha and beta receptors, preventing estrogenic signaling. And thus, the hypothalamus and the pituitary think that there's not enough estrogen present and increase gonadotropin hormone, releasing hormone, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone as a response of that. You could get the same effect by taking an aromatase inhibitor. Novadex reduces estrogen levels because one of its metabolites, norindoxaphene, actually acts as a potent aromatase inhibitor. So please do some more research. Steve Bayat in live on chat. In Thailand, with the traffic and the way things are, I feel much more comfortable owning less. Honestly. 0.6 nanograms per milliliter good for Faria's growth hormone. No, that's terrible. That's natural levels. Nick PR, member for 1 month. Hey Steve, how to best use Super Shredder, timing, dose, site, intramuscular sub-Q, anything different from other injectable pre-workouts, advice on high hematocrit 55 and low HDL 36. So high hematocrit 55, if you were sufficiently hydrated, if you drink 1.5 liters of water before going in for blood work and your hematocrit is high, then you might need to do a therapeutic blood donation. If you're dehydrated, the next time go in, drink a bottle of water and see where your hematocrit really is. It might be 52. And then you have to see, where your iron levels are at, your ferritin levels, your blood cell count, etc., to kind of bring that all back into normal ranges. And that might mean therapeutic blood donation, might be IP6. When you eat a lot of beef, right, there's multiple ways to get your hematocrit under control. You might need to take telmisartan or enalapril or methylene blue to keep that under control if it's elevated chronically. If you have a CPAP or if you have sleep apnea, then it could be the root cause, right? I mean, we're going to sit here for hours addressing it. Low LDL or low HDL, citrus bergamot, fish oil with each meal, citrus bergamot morning and evening, fish oil with every meal, daily fasted cardio, and a healthy diet with healthy fats. That increases HDL with a couple points. But it's more important that your LDL is within normal parameters, ideally below 100 milligrams per deciliter. For that, we can take citrus bergamot, ezetimibe, and daily fasted cardio, and not too much DHT derivatives. And Super Shredder, intramuscular 0.5 cc to 1 cc left and right, so bilaterally, intramuscularly in the main muscle group that you're going to train. So if you train push day, 0.5 cc to a full cc into the chest. Let me remove this right here. And if you train pull day, into the lats, right here. 0.5 cc to a full cc. And if you train leg day, into the quads, and then you use 1/2 inch needle. So you can't use an insulin syringe, you need to use a 1/2 needle. 0.5 cc to a full cc. You need to inject it bilaterally because it has a localized effect. Of course, with the Super Shredder, the albuterol will go systemic, but the adenosine monophosphate, or ATP will have a localized effect. Super Shredder doesn't have AMP. And you inject it right before you go to the gym because it starts working within basically as soon as you inject. I haven't used that in a long time. Maybe I should order some. Well, I'm going to the US soon. Might have to put my own order in. When you talk about using long-acting insulin to take pressure off the pancreas, could you still go hypo in a low dose or dose that only happens with Humalog short-acting insulin, which is more dangerous? It's more dangerous if you don't have your diet under control. Like, again, insulin uses end-stage management of your nutrition, basically. Now, taking pressure off the pancreas can obviously be debated. Some people are not pro-insulin. I'm very pro-insulin because it allows you for better glucose homeostasis in the bloodstream, better blood work parameters, and a synergistic effect with the low-dose steroids and growth hormone that you're on. So instead of ramping up the steroids, you're now adding growth hormone, and instead of ramping up the growth hormone and the steroids, you also add in the insulin for increased nutrient partitioning, and then later on, thyroid medication can be thrown into the mix as well, or IGF-1. So you use a low and effective dose of multiple compounds, but you need to go through the steroid phase and then the steroid growth hormone phase, and then later on the nutritional phase to the point you need insulin to have glucose management. So long-acting insulin can be dangerous, just the same as Humalog, so you really need to know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, but you feel that you're ready, I have an insulin ebook. It's on permanent discount, so it's only $75. And they will teach you everything you need to know and then some. Things you didn't even think you would need to know. I still put it in there. It's still the best and only insulin ebook you can find in our fitness space. And I'm very proud of that insulin ebook. So give it a read. It's very affordable. Rick PR, thank you for all the information. Greatly appreciate it. How low is too low for HDL? Single digit. But on cycle, it's if you can maintain it over 30, I think it's good. I think if I do blood work at the end of September or early October, mine is probably like 25 because I'm on test, Primo, Masteron, Trembolone, Anavar, and Winstrol. Six steroids, 750 milligrams total steroids per week. Man, we made it to the end of the chat. It only took 2 hours and 10 minutes. All right, NT Fitness. Did he repost? I didn't remember seeing his super chats. Right, I tried not to miss anybody's super chats. Remember questions. Right, you guys pay me for the questions, so even though you might not like the answers. But I did not see MT Fitness post again. And I'm not trying to miss super chats or member questions on purpose. And now that we're through all the member questions and super chats, we can finally start answering some regular questions. All right, ET Fitness. Let me see if I can find this. Fitness. Don't see it, man. If you're watching this live stream later on, just post it down below. I'll recognize your username. I'm like, hey, super chat it. This is my question. And if you do that without super chatting me, and I don't remember you super chatting, then I'll block you. Get enough of the freebies already. Okay, I don't see your question, buddy. So you probably exited the chat already. What is also low? LDL is also low. Now I wouldn't worry about that. I think that's good. Will Green, minimum EPA DHA you'd recommend daily for natural. About 3,000, 3,500 milligrams total combined. I copied this comment and posted it, Steve. Can you do it? Oh, here. Okay. You're the greatest. ET Fitness. Finally, we found it. Hey, Steve. Testosterone came back. 3,000 nanograms per deciliter. Estradiol 87 picograms per milliliter. On 600 tests, 300 Masteron, 150 Primo. I have no high estrogen side, though. Should I try to get estrogen down a bit, 40 to 60? Yeah, it's still good. I mean, the 300 Masteron will prevent any kind of gynecomastia formation. That's why I increased my Masteron to 300 milligrams just as a preventative measure. But it would still be good to get your estradiol down a little bit because estradiol over 50, 60 seems to inhibit fat loss to a certain extent and just makes you hold unnecessary amounts of water, even though Masteron and Primo in this context might be good to offset the water balance and still keep you reasonably dry and keep your blood pressure under control. So without the Masteron and Primo, I would say that an estradiol of 87 picograms per milliliter is gynecomastia territory. But with the Masteron and Primo, you're probably not feeling that. But it's still better to increase the Primo to 300 milligrams so you have a 1-to-1 ratio of test DHTs. And then your estradiol should come down to about 60, maybe 55. And I think it's perfectly okay to keep it there. All right. Dice Tomb, much appreciated. Yeah, I guess he's not watching now. He's like, fuck, this fucking guy didn't answer my fucking question. Fuck, shit, piss. Shit. So, we still got to it, buddy. Have you considered clonidine as an A2 antagonist during a cut? No, I never have. What do we have? A1 receptor agonism in the form of ribosine. That's what I'm using right now. Clonidine apparently can increase growth hormone levels. What pharma compounds would you recommend alongside clan mirabicron? T4, T3, ribosine, SLU, cardarine. It's not pharma. MOTC, SS31. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, let's see if there's some fun questions to answer. All right, you're banned forever. What the fucking racist bullshit. Christopher Edgar, Steve's voice is the only thing that suits my trend age. He's saving lives. Happy to help, buddy. Blowing out your ass. Shake it, baby. Your face, your ass, what's the difference? Let's see if there's any fun questions. Well, if you can figure out how to get you a sports car in Thailand, I got you. Well, you can buy them here. Man, I saw one sports car that I really liked. It was 1.6 million. And then, of course, with the import fees, it would be like 4 million or something, $4 million. And I don't think I'd feel comfortable driving that here with all the motorbikes. I mean, this is the reason why I have a motorbike myself and just carry extra cash just in case I scratch somebody's car because the cars are so close together, right? It's instead of just exchanging insurance details and that kind of stuff, you just say, I'm sorry, there's 3,000 baht, you know, and they're usually happy with that. Only happened twice, luckily. But with the sports car, I'd probably have a heart attack. You know, imagine driving a $1.6 million sports car here or $1 million sports car here. And you have all these motorbikes zipping by. You know, I know guys with sports cars here that have nice Lamborghinis or Ferraris, the Thai guys that are filthy rich. And I ask them, how do you feel in traffic? They're like, they just shake their head. I said I can only drive it on certain hours. The best time to drive in the middle of the night, you know, but then you don't see much. And then there's also drunk people on the street, so that makes it even riskier. So no, this is not a sports car friendly environment in Thailand. It's I don't know. I'd probably get a motorbike, modify the shit out of it, and just have a clown's car or a car that's comfortable, that not too expensive, just functional, and that's it, man. That's it. And of course, the maintenance would be, I don't know. Are roads there good enough support for sports cars? In Bangkok, no. Hell no, dude. But there's like outside of town, there's like new stretches of road that are pretty nice that you can drive. But then along the new stretches of roads, you have a lot of soy dogs, street dogs, and I've seen soy dogs get driven over by cars so many times. There's so many of them in the countryside that, I mean, imagine hitting one of those dogs at 80 kilometers per hour or more, you know? Your car would be fucked. Of course, the dog would be fucked also, but, you know, it's at that moment, you probably feel worse about your sports car than you do about the soy dog, even though you should feel horrible about the soy dog also. I've never seen Thai people stop when they hit a soy dog, though. So they just keep driving. I've seen them hit many a time. So no, if I live in Vegas or Germany, you know, or other parts of the United States, like Miami or something, of course I would buy a fucking nice sports car and drive around and, you know, roof off, arms out, you know. I got a farmer's tan also, you can see. From the weekend. Like, what the fuck? I can't really see it on this. Look how lean I am. Steroids work. So no, the roads are not really made for it. Why do you live there, not America or Europe? It's for the females. No, it's in Thailand. You can literally do whatever you want, and up until this year, you didn't have to pay taxes. Now this year, you might have to pay taxes, even though there's ways around it, obviously. But up until now, it was a kind of tax-free super haven. So if you can keep 98% of your money, 2% transaction fees, it's better than 50%, dude. So of course now they want to import, do taxes. So you have to kind of set up your business to a certain extent. So I did that last year already, but yeah, here you can just do more with the money you earn. And besides not being able to ride a sports car, which I'm honestly not really interested in, to be honest, I drive my motorbike and I'm happy with that. And it's a fucking, an NMAX automatic motorbike, 150cc. It's not a real motorbike. It's a scooter, basically. Maxi scooter. And for the females, well, I married my wife. She's Thai. And I wouldn't have met her if I didn't come to Thailand. And yeah, it's just easy to live, man. People are easy. It's chill. It's relaxed. Thai people are friendly. 1,000 places to eat, food. Dude, I went in Ayutthaya. We went to a Vietnamese place and we ordered 7 dishes, and the bill came, and my wife's like 850 baht. I'm like, no, it can't be right. So I checked the bill, 850 baht. That's $20 for 7 dishes, dude. 7 dishes. Okay, in Bangkok it'd be like 1,500 baht, maybe 2,000 baht, depending on where you go. But where can you eat 7 dishes in the world that are all prepared fresh and good, made to order, for $20 to $50? In Europe, no way, man. It'll be $100. In America, in Las Vegas, it'd be $200. And I've had dinners in Vegas that were $200, me and my wife. That same portion of food that we eat here in Thailand would be $50. So your money goes so much further here, and the people are so much friendlier than anywhere I've met in the world. In Vegas, people were nice. Don't get me wrong, in Las Vegas, people were nice. But everybody there on holiday, So, I mean, Bangkok, everybody is in their holiday mood also. So living here is the easiest out of all the places that I've visited, and I've been all over Europe. I've been all over Asia. I've been to a couple cities in America. I've been to the Middle East, Dubai, Kuwait. It doesn't really count, but people in Kuwait and Dubai are friendly too. But there's nothing like Thailand, man. There's nothing like Thailand. With its flaws, it's still the best place to live. The political situation here is like Game of Thrones. It's very interesting to follow. And even though Thailand is far from perfect, it's still the best place to live out of all of the places that I've been to. But maybe at one point it will come to an end, depending on how they set up the tax system and how restrictive they're going to be. I'll just move. So if you guys want me to stay, don't make it too hard for me to stay. Corvette. No, it's just about, it doesn't really matter what car. It's just about not feeling comfortable in traffic. Like if you want to drive around here, you should feel comfortable, right? I mean, if you drive a sports car, even if it's $200,000, right? I'm sure you can get a nice sports car for $200,000. Whether it's 200,000 or 4 million, you should feel comfortable in that car, driving it around, right? You're not going to spend that much money on a car when you don't feel comfortable. So if traffic is not suitable for a car like that, I'd rather spend $50,000 to $100,000 on just a car that can get wrecked and have service points everywhere. So if you go with a Nissan or a Toyota or something else like that, then I just, cars in the end are liabilities. Of course, sports car you can resell, right? I see everything as a liability or an investment. So my motorbike is a liability, but I only spent $3,000 on it. Who cares? Who cares if I can't resell it? It's not a big loss. I'm having a ton of fun with it, and it can take potholes like a champ because I put the best all-in suspensions on it. But yeah, a sports car, I don't know. I just wouldn't feel comfortable putting that much money into a nice car that basically can get trashed at any point in time. And I see cars get trashed here all the time. So, no, man. All right. Lambos and Ferraris are garbage anyway. Have you driven them? Right? Have you driven them yourself? Vegas was cheap before 2000. Yeah, everything was cheap before 2000, dude. When I came to Thailand in 2006, I went to the ATM. I got 20,000 baht, and I couldn't finish it in 2 weeks. I was like, what the fuck is this? That's like $600 or something. I was like, why can't I finish my money? I went out every night. I went drinking every night. I went to hotels every day. I went sightseeing every day. I ate out 3 times per day. I couldn't finish it in 2 weeks. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That's how I got introduced to Thailand. So, yeah, of course, then you go to the go-go bar and you finish it real quick. But the first couple of weeks, where we're still doing proper sightseeing, just going to the regular nightclubs, you're like, no. Of course, if you go to the strip club in Vegas, you can easily spend $600 in a night. But your money just goes so much further here, man. How about Australia and New Zealand? So I will come to New Zealand early next year in January. I will try to contact somebody to see if we can do like a little bit of a seminar. I'll be in Wellington though, so it's at the capital. I'm not entirely sure. I might do like some sort of seminar meet and greet while I'm there. Might as well worth their time because I posted about the Wellington steak on my Instagram story. I had a Wellington steak in Ayutthaya, which was great, and then I tagged my good friend who works at the embassy in Wellington in New Zealand. Said I already had the Wellington steak, so I want to compare it to when I come to New Zealand. So that will probably be in January, February time, and then on the way back I'll swing past Sydney. So I might do some sort of get-together seminar if there's somebody willing to host it and organize it for me, because it will basically be a holiday. Right, so we'll make something work. Yeah. Buy a Toyota or Lexus if you have to buy a car. Yeah, that's the most suitable option. I mean, Lexus in Thailand doesn't have so much service, but Toyotas are built here. And honestly, I would just go for a Toyota Alphard because it's like a family van. And it's very comfortable. They're about $100,000. Great service. I could probably buy secondhand of one of my wife's PT clients, right, for I don't know, $70,000 or $50,000 or something. Get it a nice refurbishment, and just drive that. Yeah. I'm not really into cars. I would like to ride a super, but I know I'd get bored. And it's weird. I wanted to buy a BMW GT 400. Let me see if I can share it. 1 second. Continue. Oh, God. So, present, share screen. So, I was thinking about buying this motorbike. It's a maxi scooter, 350 cc's BMW. It's the only nice BMW motorbike that's available. So, I was looking at this for like 2 months. And then I saw somebody drive it at the gym. And then I sat on it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want it anymore. They also have it in white. I'll probably get it wrapped in something nice. So I'll go to the motor show at the end of the year, and then see what I want to buy. I get bored fast, man. I just don't really care. So why drop so much money in something that you're going to get bored of, I'd rather drop money on experiences, though, than when I went to Dubai. I don't have a problem dropping $680 on a dinner in the highest restaurant in the world with my wife. That was a lot of fun. I will remember that for the rest of my life. But a car, I know the motorbike that I drive now, I'm bored with also. I've driven it so many times, but it's a stud, man. That thing is indestructible. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I'm sure I'll buy a motorbike. I'll get bored with it in 1 year. And same with the sports car. So, if I buy a motorbike, it's going to be a nice one with function, and a car, it's going to be with function also. Oni Roses, would taking an oral like Anavar only on days you work out weak muscle groups be a good way to prioritize them? Yeah, go for it. It can be Anadrol also. That is a spectacular shirt. Oh yeah, I gotta link it. It's sold out though, guys. What is this, guys? Show bookmark bar. Or did I remove it already? You can only buy it in Japan. Oh, I think I removed the link. Rakuten. And I got somebody to buy a few. All right, it's linked down below. I should get a sponsorship from these fuckers, but good luck trying to explain affiliate programs to somebody who sells on Rakuten. So, let's see, what sizes do they have? Yeah, the 3XL is sold out. I'm wearing a 3XL now, but I should be better with a 5XL. The 3XL and 5XL sold out because allegedly somebody bought a lot of them for me. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Timothy Dritten, Wellington is the capital of New Zealand. There will be an audience for seminar. See you then. Okay, cool. That's good. I'll contact the go-to guys there and see if we can set up something for a day. Might as well talk about steroids. You know, it's not like I don't do that enough. All right, guys. Let me see. I'll go for 5 more minutes. No more super chats. Let's see if there's anything interesting. Gibson Chidwood, I've been rough on my diet since dropping TRT for 6 to 7 weeks. I want to do a 2-week veg protein fast to get bloods done after. Would you that falsely give me good blood work markers where wouldn't prior? Yeah, so I would rather do it now and then do your veggie salad, low protein fast, and do blood work again. See how much it improved. Recars, motorcycles are better. Yes, 100%. But when you have kids, it's better to have a car for safety. I would not put my future kids on motorcycles until they're, you know, a good age themselves. Sitting on a Harley smoking ciggies. I was looking at Harleys and then I realized I'm not old enough for a Harley. I see like the Land Glider, or was it Glide, Astroglide, Astroglide Harleys. What's it called? I know they have like a very big one. They're like $70,000 to $120,000. They look beautiful, and then I was imagining myself sitting on a Harley like that. I'm like, no, I'm not old enough. I need to be 50 or at least 45. You know, so I know I turned 41 at the end of September. Maybe I'll change my mind, but motorcycles stimulate brain-derived neurotropic factor. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. Steve on a fat So this is so funny. I go to Holland for the first time in 5 years, right? And everybody's driving these fat bikes. And I thought it was hilarious. So I might actually order one just for like 7-Eleven trips. So for the guys who don't know, fat bike is basically a bicycle that's electrical. It comes very close to these e-bikes that they have in China. They're super quiet. You still have to paddle, but it provides a little bit of power. So it has, and the wheels are bigger than motorcycle wheels. They're literally this thick, you know, around. So you have like this big, thick wheel. It would be great to bicycle on the beach, and you have to paddle a little bit, but then it provides power, so you don't have to put any pressure. And I would totally ride one of these fat bikes to 7-Eleven in the middle of the night when I have the munchies. But further than that, no. And I would fucking raise the handlebars, 100%. I would put spokes on the wheels and put a fucking extension on the back and go full cholo. Make it silver. Let me see if we can find that, and then we'll close it off. Modified e-bike. Fat bike. Let's see if we can find something. For the guys who don't know. Lowrider. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, bro. This is what I learned to like. There's a certain point where there's money, you make money, and then you're happy, and then after that, reaching a certain milestone, it doesn't make you any happier. So I reached it a long time ago, but you just come to a point where you don't have to think about buying stupid stuff. So sometimes I feel like buying something absolutely silly, and it's not expensive at all. Share screen. So let's see. So fat. Oh, 1 second. So you have a fat bike, and then let's see. This one, I think this one looks good. Can you guys see this? Ah, fuck. Can't see that. Anyway, something like this. Yeah, this one. Stupid big wheels. Motorized. This is beautiful, though. Yeah, this one, this orange one. Looks silly as hell. I would drive it. You just got to modify the shit out of it. Well, what I really want, stretch scooter. This is what I really want. A lowrider scooter from Japan. I would spend $300,000 on this if I can get it street legal in Thailand. Well, let me share my entire screen. Yeah, something like this. Something like this. I would definitely, oh Jesus. I would definitely drive. These things are legendary. All right. Oh, one more super chat. Melanotan tube, short-term, long-term protocol, 0.1 milligrams sub-Q per day. All right, let's wrap it up here, guys. It's Chase not streaming? I guess not. He's probably on daddy duty again, man. Probably on daddy duty. So, enjoy your nights. Peace out. We'll see you next weekend. Don't do anything crazy. Uncle Steve's got you covered. And, yeah, try to behave on Instagram, okay? Because those comments sometimes, oh my God. All right, peace out, guys. See you later.